We Are Wrestling.
Olympic hero Kurt Angle, and you're listening to the We Are Wrestling Podcast. We Are Wrestling Podcast.
Hey everybody, Eric Bischoff here, and you are listening to We Are Wrestling Podcast.
You're watching We Are Wrestling.
I'm the host with the most.
You are by far the least intelligent. Stay tuned, listen to the podcast. Best one, Donnie, might teach you a thing or two.
What is going on, We Are Wrestling Maniacs Worldwide? Ben here, one half of the We Are Wrestling Podcast.
If you ain't listening to the We Are Wrestling Podcast, bro, you're missing out. The king listens, and you need to too, bro.
Ricky knows best, ladies and gentlemen. Ricky knows best. Believe in me. God bless you.
We Are Wrestling Podcast.
We are wrestling.
What is up? We are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide. I'm the host with the most, Mr. We Are Wrestling himself, the best one, Donnie, here with...
Ricky Williams, a.k.a. Ricky Knows Best, a.k.a. 93 Till Infinity, a.k.a. the co-host with the most.
So unfortunately, guys, Rage Circus, Ben is not available this week for the pod, but he'll be back next week. So this week, it's going to be myself and Ricky Knows Best. We got lots of awesome wrestling news that we're going to be covering this week. But before we get into it, if you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, and you're listening to this episode on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, give us a 5-star review, not just any review, a best one review, and download the episode. But if you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, over on the YouTube channel, where you get the best pro wrestling content, and you're not a part of the thousands of subscribers, we recommend you to hit that subscribe button now, turn on the post notifications. Videos be coming out of nowhere like an RKO, and of course you already know, the grind is real. So we do have a couple quick announcements that we are going to make before we get into the episode, and we do have a couple We Are Wrestling watch-alongs that will be coming to the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel within the next couple of weeks. AEW All In at Wembley Stadium, August 25th. We'll be live, doing a live watch-along for the event. And then, of course, on Saturday, August 31st, WWE Bash at Berlin. Ben will be live on the We Are Wrestling channel, doing a live watch-along for that. And then on Saturday, September 7th, AEW All Out in Chicago. We'll be also doing another live watch-along. So if you guys want to interact with us, the best way to do it is joining us on the live watch-alongs. But not just that. Next Friday, we're going to be doing a live episode of the We Are Wrestling Podcast, because there's going to be a lot of things going on next week. So with our schedules and everything, we figured let's do a live episode next Friday. So if you guys want to join us for that, we'll be live next Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, Ricky, how's your week been so far?
My week's been good. I can't complain that much. It's been solid. Just work, life, personal things. You already know. The cycle never ends. But I'm doing good today. I'm doing good. I'm blessed today.
That's good, man. And for me, I got to say, so last week I did talk about how I had some traveling, some meet and greets going on. And on Friday, I was actually supposed to go to Albany to meet Joe Hendry, but I was so mad I missed out on the meet and greet due to weather issues. Winds were picking up 40 miles per hour in the area, and we did have some storms in the New England place, so I did miss out on that. But I did get the opportunity, though, to travel a little bit on Sunday. I went to the beach, kicked back a little bit, which was nice. And this weekend coming up, I actually will be traveling a lot, which is why I'm not doing SmackDown reactions on Friday. I will be going to Terrificon by the time that this is already up. So I'll be meeting Samoa Joe and John Kreese, one of the main villains on the Karate Kid. And then on Saturday, I'm going to Fanatic Fest to meet the best in the world, CM Punk. And then on Sunday, I got a comedy show for Shane Gillis. So it's going to be a very busy weekend.
The workhorse. The workhorse.
Exactly. And speaking of workhorses, last Friday, unfortunately, a legend in this business, Kevin Sullivan, the Taskmaster, tragically passed away. So We Are Wrestling. We do want to send our love. We want to send our condolences to Kevin's family and his friends, his family, and of course the fans during this hard time.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Kevin Sullivan. Rest in peace.
And is there anything like you want to talk about with Kevin Sullivan? Because he is one of the more brilliant wrestling minds in the business. And I feel like what better way to start off the podcast than put over Kevin Sullivan?
He's one of the best bookers, low key. Like, I've heard a lot of good things about his booking ability. And he was very underrated in the ring because I was watching him a little bit in NWA, ECW, WCW, and then he's had a few good moments. And then he's been attached to some other weird moments that I don't want to talk about on camera. I'll talk to you off camera about it. But then again, after that, he's an underrated figure. Like, nobody gives him credit neither because he had a lot of praise in WCW. When WCW was after WCW changed in the 90s, he still stuck to his role. He never complained about it. And then he always was a team player. All the stories I've been hearing about him, Kevin Sullivan is an underrated mind. If it was a franchise, if I build a wrestling franchise right now, I'd probably call him up right now. Like, he's one of the ones I call up.
Oh, I would definitely have him as definitely a part of my booking committee, definitely, with the way that he's been. But I actually did have the opportunity to meet him earlier this year back at January at the Showcase of Legends event out in Rhode Island. And he was such a very nice guy. And especially hearing the stories, he was one that was very loyal to whatever he did in the business and one of the more creative minds who definitely stayed loyal to where he was. And he was a huge part of WCW's success too during the time, especially building the company up and stuff.
He's an old school, he's an old school wrestler, but he adapted with the times a little bit too. So it's like the basketball era a little bit, as you know, the 80s and how they played in the 80s and then the 90s, how they played. I think he adapted with literally every single wrestling era. And he stuck with it, and then he stuck out. There's a lot of guys, a lot of veterans.
That's the thing, man. That's a hard thing to do because a lot of people, a lot of old school wrestlers, it's hard for them to adjust to the new style. And he was somebody that would go to wrestlers at the conventions, give his advice to future wrestlers, and he really gave a lot to this business, which is why We Are Wrestling, we really want to send our love and condolences to his family during this time, and he'll always be remembered as one of the most underrated bookers of all time. And he was a great wrestler too.
Facts, 100% facts. Like I said, he adapted in every era. Everything they told him to do, he did it, and then he never complained about it. And then, like I said, if I'm starting a franchise, I'm hitting him up. He's one of the 5 people I'm hitting up to do my show.
Oh, definitely, for sure. But now, let's get into our power of the poll, where every week we recommend all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs to go to our community tab on the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel. And every Thursday, we give you guys something to vote on for the power of the poll. And then we come on the podcast, we discuss it. And this week, we asked you guys, Who is the best heel in the Ruthless Aggression era? So, drum roll, please. And the winner is 56% of you guys voted Triple H. Only 8% voted JBL, while 12% of the Maniacs picked Edge, and 24% of you guys picked Randy Orton. So, Ricky, do you agree with the We Are Wrestling Maniacs that Triple H was the best heel in the Ruthless Aggression era?
It's debatable. Honestly, I'm gonna put it like this: it's debatable all around because it depends on what you prefer in a wrestling heel, aka villain, and it just depends on like what they did that really made you mad. Triple H, I agree with Triple H. Not 56% though, but Triple H edges it out to me because Triple H. It started with the if we talking about Ruthless, it started with the Shawn Michaels betrayal of DX. Everybody thought they were really getting back together, and then they did a Houdini, a rabbit in the hat, and then Triple H ended up pedigreeing Shawn Michaels. He literally put him through so much. He put him through so much around that time, like put him to a car, wouldn't literally injured him. He was out for a few weeks. Like Triple H did a lot of grimy stuff to Shawn Michaels before he became the world heavyweight champion. And then I'm getting to that too. They awarded him the world heavyweight champion. He didn't earn it. And then a lot of people were mad at the time. But you already know Triple H's ego. Like, he was the number one contender. He should have faced Brock Lesnar, which is true. I'm not hating it. But he never earned it. And then he kept going through like a villainous cycle. And then adding Ric Flair.
Yeah, adding Ric Flair to it definitely.
Adding Ric Flair was like the icing on the cake. Because all you had to do was just find like two younger guys that had the it factor, I should say, and then let them take their reign or let them build their star up, and then they're gonna take off just like that. And guess what happened? You got two of them right now, Randy Orton, who's still active and a legend, and then you got Batista. And I'm sad and mad that Batista actually left the first time in 2010. But then I understood certain things. He didn't like where the company was going. I'm pretty sure you heard about that before, too. Though.
Yeah, and like you have to realize, like he went from being a megastar in like 2005 to like kind of fizzling out like in 2008. So he kind of got lost in the shuffle a little bit.
Yeah. And then that's what made me
like,
mad.
Here's the thing, though. Like I agree with you when you said like 56% picked Triple H. Like I thought that this was going to be a much tighter race.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to lie to you. When I look at this graphic here of the results, JBL being 8% is criminal.
Yep.
And I'm not going to lie. I voted JBL because I thought that he is the most legitimate heel.
You know what it is?
No, during that time, Ricky, tell me right now, who fucked with JBL during that time in the Ruthless Aggression era?
What, when he won the title?
Yeah, when John Bradshaw Layfield beat Eddie Guerrero for the championship.
No, you're right. You're right.
Because Triple H, here's the thing. When it's all said and done, people loved Triple H during his time. But friggin' JBL, when he went from being Bradshaw with APA to John Bradshaw Layfield JBL and did this whole like gimmick with coming out in the limos, the custom suits, the cowboy hat, people legitimately hated him. And if you go back into like 2004, 2005, watching those JBL matches, everybody did not like him compared to Triple H. I can tell you right now, I think more people hate JBL than they do Triple H.
At the same time, in my opinion, the only reason I say Triple H too, also, apart from half the reasons I said, it's because of longevity too. It's like he was just the main, like he kept winning the world title. He won it every single time, and that got on people's skin. That got under people's skin.
I understand like Triple H winning this because like I'm not against him winning, but the fact that the poll Triple H has more than 50% vote, I think is absolutely wild to me. And then like Edge also had a great heel run, and he only got 12%.
Mm-hmm.
He was a part of an affair with friggin' Lita back in 2005. How much more slimy is that?
Randy Randy should be a little higher.
Matt
too.
Hardy legitimately lost his job because of friggin' Edge hooking up with Lita.
That's a storyline, though. You can't be that mad over it.
No, but that was legitimate, though. Like, the affair thing, that was legitimate. Edge and Lita were hooking up behind the scenes. And then that's when Matt Hardy pretty much exposed them online, which got him fired. And then he came back under one circumstance, and that was to create an angle with Edge.
Wow.
And Lita. And then they were able to make some money off of it. But still, Edge is getting 12%. Like, I feel like, damn, like 50 divided by 4. I'm going to grab my calculator real quick right here on my handy dandy iPhone, because with this, I don't know. I feel like all 4 of these guys, like, they all should have been like somewhat. All right, let's see. So yeah, 25%. They all should have gotten 25% in my opinion, because they all were such great heels during their time.
Yeah, like I said, the only reason Triple H, here's the only thing, like, his heel character was a little, like, it just depends on how you're going to stretch it. Because his era of being a heel, I'm going to go off, like, quantity. Like, I'm going to go off a little bit of longer longevity. That's the only reason. JBL should be number 2. He really should be number. It should be divided. Triple H should at least have 39. JBL should have, I say 29. I don't know. It's just hard to say. Because like you just said, this is a debatable topic depending on where you're looking at and your preferences. So Triple H is a little too high. I do agree with you on that. I think Triple H, he's literally the logo of heels, though. Like in the Ruthless Aggression era, if they had a heel logo in WWE, Triple H probably would have that right now.
Yeah, no, I do agree. And it is hard because all 4 of them, respectfully, they were great heels during their time. And somebody I do want to talk about a little bit is Randy Orton, who got second place here with 24%. He had a great heel run during the Ruthless Aggression. The man was a legend killer, taking out all the fan favorites.
The bald-headed Randy is next level, though.
That's still Ruthless Aggression. That still counts. Yep.
That bald-headed Randy is next level.
When he took out all the McMahons.
Yo, I'm telling you, that bald-headed Randy is next level heel. If y'all don't know about that, we can't conversate with wrestling with you guys at all. If y'all don't know about that bald-headed Randy Orton, that McMahon rivalry, we can't talk. Even the John Cena thing, the John Cena, the last man standing, the I quit.
Oh my God, I hated Randy during that time so much.
Randy made him being a heel. It made it so easy for him because he already knew the buttons to push and he already knew how to create heat without even trying to create heat. That's how easy it was for him.
So here's the thing. I do want to give a quick summary on all 4 of these guys. Like me as a child, how I felt. So we look at the graph here. We have Triple H, 56%. And my God, him as the World Heavyweight Championship during the Ruthless Aggression era, especially 2004, 2005, it felt like it was never going to end. Like I really thought like it was never, ever going to end. Until like WrestleMania 21, like that's like when like there was hope. Then JBL, he had 8%. And my goodness, my childhood hero, my favorite wrestler of all time, John Cena. Oh my goodness. Like during that feud was one of my all-time favorites, but like JBL just continuing to weasel his way out every World Heavyweight Championship match. Like you would think like Eddie Guerrero, he would beat him. JBL finds a way. Then we get into The Undertaker at SummerSlam 2004. JBL finds a way. He beats Booker T, finds a way. Then he gets a fatal 4-way, finds a way. And he just continues to do that until John Cena finally beats him at Mania. So I absolutely hated JBL because he was a little weasel. And this is kid me as well. But obviously nowadays I can find like appreciation for these type of heels. And then Edge, 12%. Which, oh man, him cashing in that Money in the Bank at New Year's Revolution 2006, which I was at, seeing my childhood hero lose his championship, I was heartbroken by Edge. And then he has sex on Monday Night Raw next week after that. And then last but not least, we have Randy Orton, 24%. Obviously, him having a rivalry with John Cena, who was my favorite at the time. I hated him, and he always had one up on John during this time.
It was definitely terrible. Like I
So
said, that
respectfully, I feel like it should be a lot closer than having 56% Triple H. But I do agree. If I had to really break it down, Triple H is probably the best heel in the Ruthless Aggression era. So I think the Maniacs aren't wrong. I'm just surprised that JBL is 8%.
listen, I'm kind of surprised too. Like I said, I had Triple H from the jump. I'm edging it out, but like I said, it's debatable depending on how y'all looking at it. Y'all can spread this around the 4 angles you just said. You can spread it around however you want to, but just do it at your own preference.
And there is one more thing I do want to point out before we get into the highlight of the week. So I'm looking at the community tab right now with some of the comments, and one of our maniacs, at alternative 7586, he made a great point about JBL that I do want to share. And he said this, and I quote, JBL went to the U.S.-Mexico border, assaulted a man, and scared his family back to the border. He did all of this to win a trophy, by the way. A trophy.
Yeah, I heard something about that. I remember that.
8%. 8%. That's crazy to me. But
some people,
anything else you do want to say before we move on?
No, what you were saying, some people don't know those little details. They find out years later about certain details because you just know from wrestling. You're watching it on TV. Like, you're not going to find this stuff out until years later because the internet, you didn't have much access to certain information and current events like that. But today, they'll bring it all to light. Everything will be all brought to light. And then you realize how much of a heel and how much information you get later, like how much stuff you learn about the wrestling business later and everything coming to it. You all learn everything years later. That's not bad. It's not bad at all, depending on it too. So,
yeah, and to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs, if you guys want to be a part of the power of the poll, all you gotta do is go to the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel, which we do have quite some videos. We do wrestling reactions, which we do Friday Night SmackDown, we do Monday Night Raw, we do NXT. We also have fun little challenge videos like Guess the Theme Song, and we even do
the champion, by the way,
as well. And we also do have the video version of the podcast on the channel for free. So if you guys want to check the channel out, highly recommend it. And in our community tab, every Thursday, you guys get 1 week to vote. And next week's Power of the Poll, we wanted to do something AEW All In related since they are having their biggest show next Sunday. And we asked you guys, who do you think will show up in AEW? So the options are Bobby Lashley, Shane O'Mac, Ricochet, or none of the above. And if you do pick none of the above, we do want you guys to comment who you think will show up. So you guys do have 1 week to vote on that, and we'll talk about it next week live on the We Are Wrestling podcast. So with that being said, let's get into our wrestling highlight of the week. So Ricky, what's got to be your highlight in the wrestling world this week?
Let me go to New Japan Pro Wrestling real quick. I think I don't know. I forgot the date. I could be wrong, but I was watching the G1 Climax. I watched Konosuke Takeshita versus ELP, El Phantasmo. They had a match in the G1. Ooh. Match literally stole the entire show. The best match in the G1. And it brought me down to disbelief because Takeshita, he made he made AEW proud so far in the G1. And he's made New Japan Pro Wrestling fans like myself extremely proud. Go watch the match if you haven't. That's my highlight of the week. My second one though is probably Rhea and Damian Priest beating up the Judgment Day. Probably them beating up the Judgment Day. Straight up. Just beating them up. they literally been beating these guys up the last 3 weeks. The last 2 weeks,
that's,
actually.
to be honest with you, Ricky, like that was one of my highlight of the weeks, obviously. Like that opening segment on Monday Night Raw this past Monday was great. And I think like Rhea pretty much like coming at Dom was great. And then having Liv react to like the sloppy seconds chant. And then Damian coming from behind. Rhea almost hits the riptide on him. And then Liv saves him. I thought it was great. And then we even got like some friggin' brawling going on and like throughout the arena, which was kind of nice too. So I really enjoyed that. But there is another highlight of the week that I do have. And the reason I'm going to pick this is because I think a lot of people don't talk about AEW Collision as much anymore since CM Punk is no longer with AEW. And I have to give flowers to both Deonna Purrazzo and Thunder Rosa on their Texas bull rope match. I thought they had a great match. And I really like got to sit back and I really got to enjoy it. I saw it on my AEW feed on YouTube because I subscribed to them and I watched the match and man, they both delivered. And I guess they've been having like this rivalry going on Collision. So I kind of like went back down that rabbit hole and I kind of watched like all the stuff leading up to it. And man, like, where is this on Dynamite? Like, why aren't we showing highlights of this? Like, some of the stuff that's going on in Collision right now is actually pretty decent, but people aren't talking about it, I feel like, because nobody tunes in, because they don't advertise it enough on their flagship show.
They're not going to talk about stuff like that. Like, they don't talk about the undercard stuff at all the time. The undercard matches be actually the best matches, too.
Man, Deonna and Thunder Rosa, that was such a great match. And it like this isn't even like the only match that they've had that's been great.
Thunder Rosa, I got a lot of love for you, but I was going for Deonna Purrazzo. I'm sorry, man.
That's
one
of
my
Deonna.
favorite female wrestlers.
I was going for Deonna too. Virtuosa. But I really hope that these two get more opportunities in AEW because they're very talented. And this should be getting talked about on Dynamite. I don't understand why we're not talking about this. But
because it's my bad for cutting you off.
It's
because of you already know the top female wrestlers over there are getting the attention right now. You know the CEOs, the doctors, the timeless, the glorious, or whatever you call her. They're getting the top attention right now. The female workhorse wrestlers that actually work, they're getting they're gonna steal the show. The stories are gonna be with the top people. That's what I've noticed with female wrestling. Like it comes both ways though. But like the top female stars, they're gonna get the stories and they're gonna get the highlights. But the workhorse female wrestlers, they're arguably gonna steal the show.
Well, let me just say this.
Any given day, they're gonna steal the show. That's my opinion.
Man, let me just say this. I want to really give this hot take real quick. And call me crazy, but I feel like right now, and I can't believe I'm saying this in 2024 because the AEW women's division was very lackluster for years. But I feel like right now, in this time and age, on friggin' August 16th, I could say this. The AEW women's division right now doing a whole lot better than the men in AEW. I feel like the AEW women's storylines are more interesting than what's going on in the men. I feel like, especially the two matches that we're getting at All In with Mercedes Moné versus Dr. Britt Baker. That's a great dream match right there. And then one of the best storylines on AEW programming right now that nobody is acknowledging, Mariah May and Timeless Toni Storm. It's been fantastic. And then also Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale. I feel like they've had a solid little rivalry going on. I think they should do a little bit more there. And then Deonna and Thunder Rosa, which is my highlight of the week. Like, they're also doing a great job. Like, AEW women's division has the momentum right now. And I feel like they're doing so much better than the men in AEW. And I feel like that needs to be acknowledged.
Yeah, that's a fact. About that too, you talk about the Statlander, Willow. I don't think Statlander, I think she's getting the short end of the stick for some reason. I love Willow, but like Statlander, she's not living up to certain standards as a heel right now.
Oh, I
Even with
agree.
Stokely, because Willow clearly is the star in that feud. Chris
Willow is looking
Statlander,
really good.
Statlander can she's very good in the ring, but like she's suffering from this feud a little bit too. Even if
I do
Willow,
agree.
even if Willow loses this feud, Statlander still is where she's at. I'm sorry.
And I feel like they're setting up, like, it seems like they're like having Statlander put Willow over. And it sucks because I feel like Statlander, like, they need to do something to let her take the next step, because I think that she has all the potential in the world to become an AEW Women's World Champion. She's that freaking talented.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm surprised that they're just like not really like living up to her full potential. And I think a lot of it has to do with Tony Khan and creative.
Yeah, Tony. Tony,
But
can you explain that to us? Tony?
I really want to know too, Tony. But now let's get into the
let me be the
We
booker.
Are Wrestling weekly recap for the We Are Wrestling podcast episode 121. And starting things off, last Friday on SmackDown, it was announced that at Bash at Berlin, Cody Rhodes will be defending his championship against Kevin Owens. What's your thoughts on this match?
There's a good match coming up. I don't know if people can see it, and I don't even know myself because I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but I see a Kevin Owens heel turn in the future a little bit. What put it in my head is because Nick Aldis was going to give Roman Reigns Kevin Owens' title shot, like negotiate with him. That kind of got Kevin Owens hot in a certain way. And then as I paid attention to it little by little, when Owens said go look in the locker room for contenders, that also kind of indicated that we're getting the real prize fighter back. Because I'm missing let me be honest with you here. I'm going to keep it honest. You probably feel the same way. Because I'm missing the old Kevin Owens right now. This new Kevin Owens, I'm not all the way digging it. The pop-up powerbomb Kevin Owens, the big chubby Kevin Owens, the Kevin Steen, that's what I need right now. This Kevin Owens playing third lapdog to Cody Rhodes, no disrespect, it's not working for me. I need that prize fighter Kevin Owens back. And Kevin Owens is like 9 years due of a world title anyway. Now, I don't know if he's not probably going to beat Cody, but he's overdue for something. Like, you have to push him again at this point. Because he's been loyal.
Oh, he definitely deserves it.
He's been loyal and he's done everything this company has told him to do. Now, it's time to reward him for his respect. Because he's been doing everything y'all been telling him. He's literally, like I told you and Ben before, and I think I said it on this channel, he literally is the Chris Jericho of his era. I'm sorry. He's literally the Chris Jericho of his generation. This era WWE, he's like the Chris Jericho. Because back in the Ruthless Aggression time, Chris Jericho, he didn't even sniff the world title barely until he came back with the suit and stuff, right? Like the best in the world.
Yeah, but he had a little feud with John Cena back in 2005, and that's how like he got fired. But like real world championship contending, it was the short hair and the suit back in I think 2007, 2008.
Yep. But then
around that time.
like I said,
but I do agree with you though on the Kevin Owens take. And there's a lot of people in the IWC right now that are saying, "Oh, here we go, another predictable Cody Rhodes match." Ooh. Honestly, like for Bash at Berlin, I think that this is okay to have a fun little dream match here with Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this is a match that like is a fun match, and I think it adds more credibility to Cody Rhodes as a great defending champion, like a babyface is supposed to be. And Kevin Owens, he's somebody who for years has been sacrificing, and he's been dealing with the bloodline for the last like 4 years. So finally, Kevin Owens is getting an opportunity at the championship in a fun competitive match. Now, Bad Blood, we can't be having friend versus friends. We can't be having that shit, Ricky. But when it comes to Bash at Berlin, which is a premier live event, 3 weeks, like after SummerSlam was done, we had 3-week buildup. And it's going to be an international show. I think it's okay to have a fun little babyface versus babyface match in this situation. But like when it comes to Bad Blood, no, we can't be having friend versus friend. But honestly, I think that this is great. And okay, it's predictable, whoopee, but this is just going to add more credibility to Cody. And one thing I do want to say about Kevin Owens as well is when I watch Raw and SmackDown, I'm watching two completely different shows. And it feels like Raw knows how to create larger than life superstars. While SmackDown, I feel like you have your guys like the Bloodline, you have Cody, you obviously have Roman Reigns, but then everybody else is like just missing a couple things. And like Randy Orton, I've seen the presentation with him on SmackDown since he got drafted over there, compared to the stuff that we've seen the last 2 weeks with Gunter. And this is the Randy Orton I want to see on fucking SmackDown every week. Like, the man should be presenting himself as a main eventer because he's obviously has the stats to prove it. So, like, when it's all said and done, like, I think SmackDown, like, they're just lacking that star power, which is, like, something I want to see because we know Kevin Owens is capable of being that star, but they're not letting him. Like, if for some reason, it's like they're holding people back, which I don't understand. Why?
Like I said, look, Cody's
because Kevin Owens can work great as a babyface or a heel. He could do both. But it's the matter of, like, we need to have that Kevin Owens that was backstage ranting about Roman Reigns. That's the Kevin Owens we need every week on TV because that's when he does his best work.
Like I told you too, Cody's a poster boy, so a lot of that's not gonna be happening. I want Kevin Owens to turn heel at this point too. Like before Bad Blood or after Bad Blood, he has to turn heel. I need to see the prize fighter back.
And that's the thing, like, to be honest with you, I wouldn't be mad if they did have KO turn heel. Have him, like, have a fun, like, babyface match, and then after the match, have Kevin Owens, like, Cody and him go to hug, and then Kevin Owens just kicks him right in the nuts. Says
I was going to say...
Then you're going to have people that want to tune into SmackDown, and then we get heel Kevin versus Cody Rhodes going into Bad Blood, because one thing with the SmackDown brand is we don't have enough main event talent to go against Cody Rhodes to make it a believable that this person can take the championship from him.
Nah, it's just like what was I about to say? Nah, I was going to refer to him turning heel. I was going to have him do a Sami Zayn, put him on his head and powerbomb him on the apron. That's what I was about to say.
Oh, with NXT like when he made his debut in NXT?
Yep. Just powerbomb him on this freaking... I need the pop-up powerbomb back, too. The stunner got to go. I'm sorry. Respectfully, the stunner has to go. The pop-up powerbomb is more realistic to me. I'm sorry.
But honestly, I'm looking forward to this match. And I think that it's going to be a fun one. Especially for the fans in Germany. But moving on now to our next recap for the week. This past Friday on SmackDown, we saw a video package for Giovanni Vinci, bringing back his NXT gimmick. What's your thoughts on the vignette?
I don't know what the... I can't even say nothing about this. Hey, yo, listen, hold up. I got to get my thoughts together. I can't even say nothing because Giovanni was a part of literally the best faction in professional wrestling. And now, what is he in NXT? He's literally like, he's in NXT, right?
No, so right now, when he left Imperium originally, when they brought up Kaiser with Gunter, he did this like fashion, like he did this like gimmick, like this like modeling gimmick that got over with the NXT crowd, like where he would wear like custom suits, drive like fancy cars, and like had a really good presentation to him. So now it seems like from what I saw with the vignette, like showing a lot of like Italy and stuff, like it seems like they're going back to that character that he had in NXT.
Oh, so he's literally like a Alberto Del Rio bootleg, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
No, I
Dollar
can't.
General.
Listen, I can't. Listen, I'm actually at lost at word. I don't know what to say about this, but I'm hoping he goes somewhere with this, like, because he got kicked out of Imperium. You can't get no higher than that. So at this point, you got to make this work. Like, you just can't be like stealing styles. And I did like Alberto Del Rio needs his 911 gimmick back. Tenfold stolen gimmick. He needs that back ASAP. But like I said, if Da Vinci, you better make this work. That's all I have to say about this topic right now. I don't hate him.
Ricky.
I don't hate him. Hold on. I don't hate the man. I don't hate him. But
me either.
This gimmick right here is tenfold. I'm sorry.
Ricky, you know what we call this right now?
What is it?
This is called, in pro wrestling terms, career suicide.
Yeah.
And I am actually like worried about this because obviously the main roster and NXT are two completely different things. And like, here's what I've always said, and I'm going to continue to say it over and over again. Don't fix something that's not broken.
Yep.
Imperium is it was working. It was fantastic. And then all of a sudden, like, they had Kaiser turn on Vinci. And what's Kaiser doing? Losing matches on Monday Night Raw. So what was the point of breaking them up? They could have been dominating the tag team division on Raw, holding those tag team championships, while Gunter is holding the World Heavyweight Championship. That could have really pushed Imperium. And I think that Kaiser and Vinci, they had great chemistry. So I don't understand, like, why fix something that's not broken?
And on top of that, I have no idea why they never been tag team champions either.
I don't understand. Like, they killed it in NXT as tag champs.
That could have helped. That could have helped the Imperium status as an elite faction. But Gunther, he literally is the one-man show right now. He's the real final boss right now. I thought Kaiser at least was going to be a second boss, but clearly that's not the case. He's just a laggy that's losing. Even we can go over there and get a check real quick and beat him in the match.
But that's the thing, though. Like, I don't understand what's going on here. Like, I think eventually Kaiser could be a great mid-card guy. But right now, especially on Monday Night Raw, the roster is way too stacked for Kaiser to be in the mid-card division. He's below a mid-card right now. That's why I'm saying they should have kept him and Vinci as a tag team because it was working. And what I learned in this vignette is Vinci is not just the bald-headed guy. That's generic. He can actually cut a promo. He can actually talk. So why do we always let friggin' Kaiser and Gunter talk? They should have been having this dude friggin' cut some promos and show his personality.
I guess he's supposed to be the muscle of the Imperium. I can't say nothing. He's the muscle, I guess, because I can't say. Listen, I can't say
much. He's a Basham
brother. I can't say much, Donnie. I can't say much on the subject because I'm shocked. I'm surprised at this gimmick right now, so I can't say much about it.
I think it worked great in NXT, and I really hope it works on the SmackDown brand. But I feel like after breaking him up with Imperium, like, it's career suicide at this point, and I will not be surprised that Vinci leaves WWE by the end of 2025, going into like early 26. And he'll probably be competing for the speed title on Twitter. But moving on now to our next recap topic. This past Monday on Raw, it was announced at Bash at Berlin, Dirty Dom and Liv will be facing Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. What's your thoughts on this mixed tag match?
The slaughter. Slaughter. It's like, clearly, like I said, I know it's a storyline and everything. They literally been whipping and running the Judgment Day around like little dogs all the last 2 weeks. This could be a good one, though, because now Dirty Dom, he regained some of his heel heat. They're not letting him talk at all. Like, they're not letting him. Listen, if he does anything more foul than this, Dirty Dom's got to be the greatest heel in his generation. I'm sorry. He done excelled some of the best heels currently right now when it comes to heat. He can get heat so easy. He can walk to the store and get heat for no reason, and it'll work. He can walk down to the gym. He'll get booed in the gym for no apparent reason. That's
he was talking. Speaking of which, Ricky, during an interview with Chris Van Vliet, he was actually talking about that. Like, when fans like bump into him and stuff in public, sometimes like they don't even ask for a picture. They just go up to him and go, boo.
Like I said, he can go, like, listen, that man is a walking heat magnet. But guess what? What's that saying in wrestling that they say? If you're getting heat, it works, right?
Hey, if you're getting a reaction, you're doing something.
Reactions, or if you're getting heat, it's working. So Dirty Dom is doing a very good job with this heel person now. Very good. Now, Liv Morgan, I feel like her whole women's championship reign doesn't matter in this match. Like, I feel like that's negated. It's been neutralized. It's just, this is a personal match, right? Like, this is a personal tag team match. This is revenge.
Oh, this is more than personal. This is a vendetta.
This is a vendetta, revenge. This is a whole tour worth of animosity heating up. But Dirty Dom said, he said Rhea held him back. He said Rhea held him back, and then he didn't let. He was calling her mommy. He says Liv calls him daddy. Like, come on, man. Like, are you serious? You like we in the fifth
I
grade?
get to play video games whenever I want.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. And then on top of that, I don't know. Maybe I worded it wrong. Says Rhea was never that good, and then Rhea said Dom was never that good. Come on, man. You literally was abusing this kid 3 years straight, and you said he wasn't good. You're lying to yourself, man. I'm sorry. You are lying to yourself. Talking about he wasn't that good, wasn't deep. That's what she said. Let me quote it for you. It just wasn't deep. Yeah, right. Come on, man. Stop playing. After every boyfriend or girlfriend breaks up with y'all.
Hold up. You think that Rhea was talking about Dirty Dom, like his wrestling abilities when she brought up the deep joke?
No, both. I'm both. But I'm talking. I'm going to another subject that you know about. Like, I'm going all the way. I'm going over heads right now. But you know what I'm talking about. Just said wasn't that deep. Okay. I know a storyline, but please. You literally was abusing this boy 3 years. Kept calling him your daddy, your poppy, and all of this. I know wrestling is scripted, like I said, but don't be lying, man.
Yeah,
that's all I gotta say.
That part in the segment definitely didn't make sense on Monday. But
I'm sorry, but
let me share my thoughts on this.
Let me get back to it because I'm off topic a little bit. Yeah, this is the vendetta, like you just said. This is gonna be one of the matches. I think it's gonna be a slaughter too, because they're not doing nothing with Rhea and Priest at all, unless Finn Balor comes out. That's how I see this match going. I think Finn Balor helps them win, and then Priest and Balor get set up for Hell in a Cell and Bad Blood, and then Rhea and Ripley. I mean, man. Yeah, that's how this story got me right now.
Rhea and Liv, they wrestle each other.
That's how this story got me right now. I'm
Taylor and Priest fight each other at Bad Blood. It all makes sense. Like, what
would you hear? Or would you want it? Hold up. Or would you want it at Survivor Series, like you said one time? Would you want to hold it till Survivor Series, or do you want it at Bad Blood?
Bad Blood, honestly, at this point, with all the great rivalries that we have, like with all the animosity going on, they might as well like do something similar to TNA Lockdown. I think every match on Bad Blood should be inside a Hell in the Cell. With the way that this is, like Rhea and Liv, you have to put them inside a Hell in the Cell. Mm-hmm. Finn, Priest, you have to put them inside a Hell in the Cell. McIntyre, Punk, you have to put them inside a Hell in the Cell.
And so this is literally Hell in the Cell.
So Bad Blood literally is Hell in the Cell. You need to put them inside Hell in the Cell.
I get it. So this should be just. So we just call this the Hell in a Cell Bad Blood pay-per-view.
Yeah, pretty much. But here's like what I do want to say about this match. If Roman Reigns is not main eventing this card, the main event should be this mixed tag match, in my opinion. Like, this is right now the most talked about thing in WWE besides Roman Reigns coming back.
Wait, you mean over Gunther and Randy?
Yep. I would put this match over Gunther and Randy. I think more people are talking about this. More people are engaged. Call me crazy.
50-50. I'm 50-50 on you because I want to see Gunther headline a pay-per-view too. I want to see him headline too.
Well, realistically, they're probably going to be main eventing Gunther and Randy. But I'm just saying, like, if it was my choice, I would pick the mixed tag. But we're just going to have to wait and see on that. But I do want to share my thoughts, though. I think that this here, brilliant for like a transition PLE, because I think Finn Balor and Damian Priest, obviously we don't want them to face each other just yet. They have a lot of history. We need to slowly build it up so that we do get a bigger payoff. And I think having this be a match is brilliant because obviously Dirty Dom has history with Rhea. Damian right now wants to get back at everybody in the Judgment Day, so what better way than he can get his revenge on Dirty Dom in this match? And then having Rhea and Liv go at it without the championship being defended, it just furthers the storyline even more to when they actually go against each other, probably inside Hell in the Cell. So overall, like, I think that this is brilliant doing a mixed tag match, and it's been a while too since Dirty Dom has wrestled on a PLE.
Hey, you know what's funny about Judgment Day, man? Carlito has no business in the group. He is just What is he, a water boy? He is just there to be there. I'm sorry. Carlito does not fit the Judgment Day style. I'm sorry.
But I'm going to tell you this, Ricky. One thing I've been talking about in my reactions is I think the Judgment Day, what they need in this new Judgment Day is a monster. They need a monster that can replace Damian because, like, you can't just continue to have JD, Carlito, Dirty Dom, and Finn just get their ass kicked every week. Like, we need to get some monster in there. Give us, like, maybe Omos in there who isn't doing anything.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. No. I'll take what you said.
I'm not the biggest fan of Omos, but I'm just saying, if you have him under contract, he could be a big guy for the group. Don't have him talk. Don't really have him wrestle. Have him be there as like a security guard type of role. Or the person that I would really want to be in the part of the new Judgment Day, Braun Strowman.
I was just about to get to that.
Strowman would be a perfect member for the Judgment Day.
I was just about to say that. You right on the nail.
If Karrion Kross wasn't a part of Final Testament, I would say Kross, but honestly, I got to go Braun Strowman.
Oh, hold on. Time out. Sidebar real quick. The Final Testament needs to get broken up. They're not doing anything. I think it's just been slow, stale, and it's not been convincing at all to any fans. Like, the Final Testament needs to disband immediately. Like, Karrion Kross, listen, respectfully, you need to just like resign when your contract's up, brother. I'm sorry. Like, WWE is not doing you no favors right now. I believe in Triple H's plans for you, but I don't see the Final Testament going nowhere. The fans aren't into it. It's not convincing. You guys have not won. You guys lost at WrestleMania. Then you guys been losing matches after you lost.
They should have not lost at WrestleMania.
They shouldn't have lost. You lost tag team title matches. Like, you've been losing big matches, and you're feuding with the New Day. Now, the only good thing out of that is Xavier Woods might turn heel. That's the only thing they've done.
Hold up. No. You have to acknowledge Odyssey Jones, man. He's looked great the last 2 weeks. You have to admit that.
Oh, yeah. No. You're right. No. I'm not talking. No,
because honestly, like, I hated the whole New Day and Final Testament thing until Odyssey got involved. Because now they got me interested. Like, what's going to happen now with Xavier? Like you were saying.
You're about to see a heel turn with Woods. Because he doesn't want nobody replacing Big E. That's why. And Big E might not come back. But Jones, he don't need to be New Day, but he can be associated with them. You can't.
Well, I think that's what Kofi's trying to do.
You don't have to put him in New Day. Just have him, like, he's there for you guys when you need his help. He's not replacing Big E. He's helping you. If Big E's not going to return, why not get a helping hand from another brother? Right?
Yeah, no, I think it's all part of the storyline there.
Woods is not looking at it that way.
But here's what I want to say about Karrion Kross, though. Like, in my opinion, like, they should break up the Final Testament. I agree with you. They have just lost big matches after big matches.
Stale.
Authors of Pain, keep them with Paul Elgrin. Let them do what they were doing back in Black and Gold NXT. Because the tag division, they need to just have Authors of Pain be by themselves with Paul. And then Karrion and Scarlett, I would personally put them in the Judgment Day as that role that Damian had. Because I think that Karrion Kross, being a part of that group in different segments like they're doing, I think would be a great way to get him over and really show a new side of him to where eventually he can take over to Judgment Day and then he can become the main event star that a lot of us see. Well, a select few see. Because I know me and Ben were super high on Karrion.
I
think Judgment Day could do him a lot more than Final Testament. But I feel like the reason why they're keeping him in Final Testament is because I feel like eventually we're getting Wyatt 6 versus Testament. And I feel like that's going to be like a next like big feud going on.
No, I was just about to say that too. I wouldn't put him in the Judgment Day just yet like that. Because then there's still like, there's going to be ego problems too, right off the rip. Because you already know Finn's not going to trust an outsider. And he just literally became the leader, in my opinion, of Judgment Day.
But let him build that chemistry through time.
I don't...
Karrion, I think, could really use the Judgment Day rub. Because think about it. Everybody that's been in the Judgment Day, anybody that's been a part of it, has only gotten better in their WWE career. Look at R-Truth. He got his freaking WrestleMania moment because of what he did with the Judgment Day being relevant on TV. Because I'm not going to lie, man. Under Triple H, I thought R-Truth, that was career suicide because I felt like he was just a comedy act, but then Triple H was able to make it work with him.
That's
So,
true.
like, everybody has gotten that rub with the Judgment Day, and they have only gotten better through time. And I feel like Karrion Kross is one of those guys that obviously he has the skills to be a star, but there's just something missing. And think about it. Finn Balor, he was lost. Something was missing. Damian Priest, he was lost. He was missing something. Same with Mommy, with Rhea Ripley. Dirty Dom was even just Rey Mysterio's kid. And there was just something missing. And being in the Judgment Day has only gotten them better because they've gotten more TV time. They're more relevant. And even right now, JD McDonough and Carlito. Carlito came back to WWE. They did nothing with the guy. And now they actually have him in segments every week on TV.
Waterboy.
Even, he's a water boy, but hey, he's still on TV being relevant. But
I don't like Carlito and Judgment. He doesn't fit the mold, in my opinion. I'm sorry.
But man, we went way out of control here. But honestly, Judgment Day right now is one of my favorite things in WWE. So that's like why, like, having this discussion, I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I like them behind the new bloodline. I like the solo bloodline a little better. Those guys are savages. That's for another day, though.
That is for another day. So moving on now to our next We Are Wrestling weekly recap. This past Monday on Raw, Sonya Deville revealed her new faction name, the Pure Fusion Collective. What's your thoughts on this new faction name?
Breath of fresh air to the women's tag team division, I guess. There's not too many female tag team champion wrestling teams over there in the female division, apart from Bianca and Jade, and then a few others. So I guess they're filling the void and actually helping that division out. The women's tag team titles, I don't think there's any sense for it anymore. But this faction is refreshing to the women's division too, because these are some chicks that I legitimately feel they can beat you up in real life. Probably they look like they can beat you. They'll probably jump you first, but they one-on-one, I think they all will beat you up in real life. Literally, if you looked at them, Donnie, if you look at them, they look like they can all beat somebody up one-on-one. But
I really do like Sonya Deville with Shayna and Zoe, because Shayna and Zoe, they're not the best on the microphone. So having somebody like Sonya there, I think, is a good move. But I'm not really digging the name. I'm really not feeling it.
Yeah, that name is
throwing me off. It's throwing me off a little bit. But I do like that Triple H is actually like investing TV time into his women tag teams. I really like that. I wish he could do that more with the men tag teams. But like, I do like the chemistry there with them, but I don't really care for them too much. But I don't know. The name is just, in my opinion, dog.
It's just like I said, the women's tag team division, they need teams over there, so they're just building teams up little by little over there for those tag team titles. And like I just said, the females tag titles, they don't need to be around if that's the case. They need to build more women's championships for the women's, like to get their.
I feel like we need a mid-card title. I've been saying it every week, I feel like, on this show.
What, a women's intercontinental title or a women's US title?
We need like a women's like intercontinental belt.
Or a women's US. I'm all for it. I agree with you 1,000%.
WWE women's division is stacked right now. They could really benefit from having a championship. Like Chelsea Green, Zelina Vega. Some of those women could definitely benefit for having a mid-card title. It would give them something to fight for, I feel like.
Oh no, the females are never going to have that, because you already know, like, the men, I'm not trying to say this.
Are you sure, Ricky? Because with the women, they do have the NXT Women's North American title on NXT.
They do, but booking is going to try to keep it on the down low about the female. They're not going to give the female division all the credit in the world, because the females are just like, it's just two different categories, and some management, they see it as like the females can get there, but then they try to use so many excuses out the book to keep them down too. I'm gonna keep it at that because, like you just said, I do agree. I'm gonna keep it at that.
Hey, they've been getting more TV time, which is great. I
Yep.
think under Triple H,
There's
which
been
is
better
definitely
female
a good
matches than
sign.
men matches too, somewhat.
Oh, definitely agree. Right now, the women are killing it in both AEW and WWE, and I feel like that needs to be acknowledged.
Yeah. They need to get like Triple H and Tony Khan. They just need to give them more TV. They need to let them be themselves too. Like you can't have them on a leash at every minute. Let them bang it out. Like let them get
And
in that ring.
I feel like both of them, they're letting them do that. I think a lot of them are getting more freedom, which is nice to see.
I like it though. I like the female.
But I don't know. It's Sodia, Shayna, and Zoe. The only thing
I don't
really
like the name. I don't like the name like you do, but
give me more.
I don't like the name too, like you just said. But like I said, they're helping that tag team women's division over there.
They are.
Why. And they might take it over. I think they're gonna replace Damage Control because I don't think Damage Control is gonna be around too long.
Oh, I will say though that vignette though with Io and Kyrie, I could definitely see a really good tag team developing with them.
They used to be the Sky Pirates, right? Yeah, they used to be the.
No, that was nope, the Kabuki Warriors. That was Asuka and Kyrie.
No, I'm talking about Dakota Kai and Kyrie though. I think they were the Sky Pirates.
Oh yeah, but yeah.
They should go back to being the Sky Pirates. That's even better.
Yeah, but hey, moving on now to our next We Are Wrestling weekly recap. This past Wednesday on Dynamite, it was announced that Jack Perry will be defending the TNT Championship against Darby Allin at All In a coffin match. What's your thoughts on this and the build-up so far for this match?
The build-up's been good. You got two of the four pillars going against each other. Then, as violent, crazy, sadistic, and stupendously crazy athletes that they are, this coffin match is going to be one of the highlight matches of the entire event. Because Darby Allin and Jack Perry, like these guys literally put their bodies on the line. Darby's literally a workhorse. Like he's a team AEW. He's an AEW guy. He's an AEW original. So is Jack Perry, but Jack Perry, he got a little corrupted into the elite system, changed his whole style, and the so-called made sacrifices. Literally just beating up everybody, going around, coming into work in a truck, thinking he's the Joker and stuff. But Jack Perry's the whole thing has been good so far. The coffin match, like it's gonna get ugly. Like somebody's getting buried alive in a casket. Somebody's getting that casket. I think Jack Perry retains though. Jack Perry's gonna retain.
I hope so.
I think he's gonna retain. Darby doesn't need the title, honestly. Darby's he's over as it is. He's up to that point that he really doesn't need to be a champion right now again. And he's the longest reigning TNT champion up to date. I don't know if too many people noticed that, but he's held that championship longer than anybody. So he really doesn't need that championship right now.
I don't know, man. With Darby, I kind of want to see him get in the world title picture eventually.
No, me too.
Because I really want him to have that moment because I feel like that could get some AEW viewers to come back to watching AEW.
Mm-hmm.
But
he's literally like the Jeff Hardy. He's literally like the Jeff Hardy of AEW. His whole wrestling style. He even said it. Jeff Hardy's his favorite wrestler, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, no, he did say that. But I do want to say this about Jack versus Darby. I think that it's 1 week on Dynamite, they pick up the momentum. It's great. And then they skip a week with a stupid little vignette that doesn't really do anything to further the storyline. And then they go back to doing something great. Like this past Wednesday, I thought they did a great job, really building this up to AEW All In.
Oh yeah, with the door and the Oh, I seen that yesterday. I was watching Dynamite.
Yeah, with Perry attacking him and stuff when he was coming out.
Yep.
I think they've done a great job there, and I feel like this has been a solid build-up, but it just sucks that they didn't consistently give us great storytelling every week. And that's the part that disappoints me. It felt lazy some weeks. Other weeks, it felt great. I think Blood and Guts, they did a great job making the match happen. Having Perry, on the cage, friggin', looking like he was on a cross. And friggin', spitting at Darby, telling him to, light him on fire. they did a great job here, and I think that they're going to absolutely like tear that stadium down, and it's going to be a great violent match.
Yep. That's one of the highlights of the event for me. I like it. I can't say match of the night because I already got my match of the night already.
Oh, me too. Me too. When my boy MJF kicks Will Ospreay's ass.
Yeah. No.
I know we'll be talking about it a lot in our predictions video next week.
I don't agree with that one, but you know, the man's bet. Anyway, let's just keep going, man.
Yeah, let's keep going. So our last We Are Wrestling weekly recap for this week's episode of the podcast, we have some breaking news. So earlier today, as we're recording this, so Thursday afternoon, AEW announced that July 12th, 2025, AEW All In will be taking place at Global Life Field in Arlington, Texas. What's your thoughts on this news being official? Because obviously we had one of our main event topics was, can AEW sell out a United States stadium? And I know we talked about that a few weeks back, but now that it's official, how do you feel about this news? Do you think AEW can do it?
Yeah, they can do it. But people, here's the thing with professional wrestling fans, like sometimes they be divided too. Like it's just like the ticket sales and stuff, it's gonna come, but like the fan bases are always divided too. Like a lot of people don't mess with AEW like they do WWE. And I get it, WWE's been here longer, but y'all can't keep isolating both promotions against each other, man. Professional wrestling is professional wrestling, bro. Like it's gonna sell out, but like y'all don't need to keep going against it, man. I'm a wrestling head, period, man. I'm gonna watch it, period. WWE, AEW, TNA, Ring of Honor, New Japan. I'm gonna watch every single wrestling promotion, man. But these ticket sales, I think AEW can sky off the roof with them too. It's just like certain fans are gonna try to brush AEW off, treat it like the little brother. Like, bro, we can't keep doing this as professional wrestling fans, man. Like, we gotta appreciate this sport that we're watching. We gotta appreciate professional wrestling while it's still here, because probably in like 4 years, it might be in a whole different light. This and them selling out in Texas, I believe AEW can do it. It's just like we just gotta stop. We gotta stop dividing this stuff up, man. Like Tony Khan is trying. As much crap as I give Tony Khan, he's actually trying to sell out stadiums too, though. Like I know he has some booking work to do. I know he has some other stuff to do. He has to work on his locker room and everything. But I believe AEW, they got the talent. They got the storylines. They just haven't been executed properly. They have everything. It just hasn't been going their way. But I think they can sell this out, Donnie. I think they can sell Texas out.
And I will say this real quick, Ricky. Sorry for interrupting, but I will say this. Like, when it's all said and done, I think like everything you're saying is 150% valid. I totally have to agree with you. I'm sick of the tribalism in professional wrestling, but I do kind of have to play devil's advocate here. And Tony Khan kind of brought this upon himself, making this into a war with WWE. Even though WWE fired some shots at them, AEW, the way that they've responded hasn't always been the best.
That's what they need to stop doing that, man. Listen,
they need to focus on their product. That's what I've been trying to say.
Listen, too, on top of that, they could have came together. They could have collabed. I'm sorry.
No, you can't, man. You can't. And I try, and I believe a few weeks back on the podcast, I think Ben and I were talking about this. Maybe it could have been like off the podcast or on the podcast. I really don't know. But WWE and AEW, they'll never be able to work with each other, especially right now, because in professional wrestling, when you're the number one company in the industry and you have a rival, number two, that's trying to be number one, which is AEW, of course, and they're the only other professional wrestling company in the United States that has a big time television deal, who can go out and go after big professional wrestling free agents. Same with getting stadiums and selling out pay-per-views, and they have the finance to compete against WWE. So obviously, number one and number two, they're always going to be competing for that number one spot. And that's why I feel like realistically, when it's all said and done, they're never going to be able to work with each other as long as AEW is number two. Now, if this is years later, like TNA, who don't have the finances like they once did, then eventually they can have a working relationship. But both parties, AEW is going to try to do what's best for AEW, while WWE is going to try to do what's best for WWE. So Tony Khan and Triple H, they're never going to be able to work with each other.
Yeah, I get it now. No, I get what you're saying. I
It's
feel like it shouldn't. I feel like it
unfortunate.
shouldn't be that way, though. I feel like it shouldn't be that way too. Like, you can come together as human beings and collab.
Like, tell me right now, Ricky, when it comes to mixed martial arts, do you ever see the UFC competing or working with Bellator? It's not going to happen because Bellator is trying to compete for that number one spot.
You got that one. You got that one. I agree. Okay, the way you said it. Okay, you said it like that. Okay, because I said it in my mind, and then I know you were going with it, so I'm like, okay, I get what he's talking about now.
So when it's all said and done, like from a business side of it, they're never going to be able to work with each other. But what AEW needs to do is focus on All Elite Wrestling. Stop saying, oh, WWE's the Harvey Weinstein of wrestling. Stop making the comments about Triple H. Stop making the comments about WWE and focus on your own product. Because I think every time AEW, they get there, they start focusing on their product. They're up there. Finally, the morals are at an all-time high, and then they fuck it up. And I'm sick of seeing something like that continue to happen. But now let me get back on track here and talk about AEW All In here in Texas. I think that this is a great move. And All In has always been like one of those things where AEW and the Elite, they've always tried to bet against themselves. Meltzer said in 2018, you guys can't sell out a 10,000 seat arena. Only WWE could do that. What did they go do? They sold out a 10,000 seat arena. Then they went out to Wembley Stadium. People said they couldn't do it. They went out and they did it. So now the next goal is to friggin' sell out a United States stadium. And here's what I'm going to say about this, Ricky, all right? Here's what I got to say. And you might agree with me. So I think if AEW can actually sell out this stadium on July 12th, 2025, I don't want to see those friggin' fake catfish IWC Twitter profiles with no profile pictures saying, oh, AEW is going to die. AEW is going to go out of business. If they sell out a stadium in the United States, all those AEW haters need to shut the fuck up and just enjoy wrestling. Like, if you don't like AEW, go watch WWE. But you can't talk shit about AEW if they're selling out a stadium.
That's true.
And that's what I got to say about it, because
I think they can do it too. I think they can sell out too.
Because WWE fanboys, they love to continue to shit on AEW no matter what they're doing, whether it's good, whether it's bad. And me, I love both WWE and AEW. And right now, I can admit, as an AEW fan, WWE product has been a lot better. It's more watchable right now. And there's things that AEW needs to improve on. I think All In last year was a lot better than this year. But AEW is clearly still doing something right. And they're still getting friggin' a lot of people for this All In. Even though it's not the numbers that they had last year, they still have, I believe, 50,000 people. That's still an impressive number. And we haven't even got into the pay-per-view buys yet. So, like, AEW is not going anywhere, especially with Tony Khan's finances. They're about to secure a huge television deal that I believe Tony Khan's going to be announcing within the next week or so. Like, AEW is not dying. Like, I know there's people that don't enjoy AEW because it's not just the storytelling like WWE. WWE, they're about the larger-than-life characters. They're about building storylines and stuff, which I prefer that style a lot more than what AEW does. But what AEW does is they focus on the professional wrestling. And you can't deny that their pay-per-views are bad, because every time I've watched an AEW pay-per-view, and I know because I do live watch-alongs, I spend the $50 every pay-per-view. They over-deliver. So AEW is not going anywhere anytime soon. But yes, the product can get better. But I think if they sell out that stadium, like I said, I don't want to hear AEW haters talk that shit anymore.
No, I don't want to hear a period. I'm just tired of hearing it. Professional wrestling is professional wrestling. I'm sick of dividance in professional wrestling. If you just say something, if you don't know the guy,
you know why, Ricky? It's like that, right?
yeah. Well,
here's why. Because friggin' everybody tries to make this like the Monday Night Wars back in the day, WCW versus WWE. And what people need to realize is in 2024, there is no Monday Night War. Nothing is ever, and I'm going to pull a Chris Jericho here, ever going to ever get to that point ever again in professional wrestling. If you like AEW, you like AEW. If you like WWE, you like WWE. If you like New Japan, you like New Japan. Let's stop shitting on other people that enjoy what they like. You can like it all. You don't have, this is not tribalism. This is not fucking politics. You don't have to pick one party or the other. You can enjoy all of it if you want. You can enjoy one of them if you want. But like, honestly, I think like it's really fucking up the wrestling business with people just like trying to shit on AEW saying, oh, the company's going to die. But like competition brings out the best in everybody. And I don't care what anybody says. And I know we're going way over here and I don't care, but man, like what I have to say here is like just overall
enjoy professional wrestling.
Enjoy professional wrestling, exactly. And
mic drop. Let's just drop.
Man, like company's gonna die, this and that. Like it's not happening.
Stop wishing bad on companies, man. It's not healthy.
It's not healthy because at the end of the day, competition brings out the best in everybody. And I almost lost my train of thought here, but here I actually remember it now. So, like with AEW, without AEW, WWE, I'm sorry, we would still be having Vince McMahon running the shows and it would be dog shit.
Oh,
Pervy Siege.
Oh, okay. I don't say that.
Let's be real here. WWE would not be where they're at right now if it wasn't for AEW bringing out the best in them. Because let's be honest, in 2019, WWE was dog shit.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I don't know, man. People just need to, like, if you don't like AEW, you don't like it, but don't, like, wish, like, company to die. Like, you know how many, like, jobs it created and opened up for people?
And on top of that, don't be on these We Are Wrestling chats talking about it. Just don't watch it, period. That's it. Go watch it at home by yourself. Don't come on a platform snapping on stuff, man. But we ain't doing it.
One of the longest We Are Wrestling recaps, but totally worth it. Up next, we have our comment of the week, and of course, the We Are Wrestling weekly news and rumors. We'll be right back with more We Are Wrestling podcast episode 121.
Hey everybody, Eric Bischoff here, and you are listening to We Are Wrestling Podcast.
Saturday, November 16th at the South End Community Center in Springfield, Mass. We Are Wrestling is returning to the Wrestling Classic 5.
Zombie Hideout and Captain's Corner is putting together a lineup full of wrestling legends and Hall of Famers you have the opportunity to meet.
Some of the big names you can meet includes good old Jim Ross, JBL, Shelton Benjamin, Donovan Dijak, Deborah, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and many more stars to be announced.
We Are Wrestling will be selling exclusive merchandise you can only find at the Classic, and for the very first time, we'll be recording a special bonus episode of the We Are Wrestling podcast.
We highly encourage the We Are Wrestling Maniacs to come to our booth and hang out with us. You can interact and meet the best one, Donnie, Ben, and Ricky Knows Best.
This will be the best wrestling classic yet, and it will all be happening on Saturday, November 16th at the South End Community Center in Springfield, Mass.
Get your tickets now at www.zombie-hideout.com. We're back, and just a reminder, on Saturday, November 16th, We Are Wrestling will be at the Wrestling Classic 5. I know last week I did tease a big announcement, but unfortunately, it does have to be delayed another week, and we do have this announcement 100% locked in. We're just really waiting for the graphic design, and I'm waiting for the announcement to be made by the Wrestling Classic first, but we do have something big happening. because We Are Wrestling, we always like to challenge ourselves. So it's going to be definitely some big news, and I'm very excited to share it. But there's going to be lots of awesome professional wrestlers, legends in the business that you can have the opportunity to meet. Also, we'll be at our We Are Wrestling table. So if you guys want to come hang out with us, be a part of the vlog, go right ahead. It's going to be a great event. So Saturday, November 16th, if you're in the Western Mass area, highly recommend coming out to the Wrestling Classic 5 South End Community Center. So every week we do this thing called the Comment of the Week. And this week, the winner is at Angelo Rodriguez, 1686. And he is a member on the We Are Wrestling channel, so we do appreciate your support, Angelo. And he commented on the SmackDown reaction and said this, and I quote, "It's always Kevin Owens to the save. Can we get someone new? And now he gets a title match for no reason. Already got 2 predictable matches, and they are world title matches at least. Have some heat into this match." So, Ricky, what's your thoughts on Angelo's comment there about KO not deserving the championship?
Oh, he deserves the championship. I don't know what that doesn't make sense at all. Kevin Owens deserves a title shot, man. We just talked about this several minutes ago. He's 7 years due for 9 years due of a title reign or a big lengthy push. Because Kevin, like I said, he's been loyal. He's done everything they've asked him to do. He's played his role, and he's never complained about it. From what I've heard, Kevin Owens deserves this, man. I don't agree with that take at all. Like, come on, Alex, you can do better.
Here's what I'm gonna say about this, Angelo. All right, when it's all said and done, like, we already know, like, this championship division is stacked right now in WWE. I believe Ben and we talked about this last week on the show. And I feel like a lot of these champions are going to be holding the titles for a pretty long time. So, like, you're going to know what's going on if you're a maniac. Like, if you're listening to us rant about professional wrestling on a podcast for hours, you clearly are We Are Wrestling maniac like us who love this sport. And we know more than the average Joe when it comes to this stuff. And of course, the World Championship title matches are predictable. But now here's the thing that I do want to challenge those who think they know it all. How about instead of, oh, goodness, Cody Rhodes is going to win this match again. Oh, goodness, Gunter's going to retain the championship. Very predictable. How about you ask yourself, what do you think is going to happen with the finish of the match? What do you think is going to happen during the match? Because Triple H, one thing that he is very good at, yes, some of the stuff is predictable. Everywhere in the wrestling business is predictable, but he creates storylines that lead to something bigger and then something even bigger. So, like, that's, I feel like, what a lot of these Cody crybabies need to realize. Because I'm sick of seeing people saying, oh, Cody Rhodes, another predictable win, whoopee. I do agree we need to create some new stars. He's not wrong there. But, like, Cody Rhodes has to be a defending champion, and he just got done with a rivalry with Solo. So, like, now let's have a fun match at Bash in Berlin, and let's see what's going to happen. Because even earlier in the show, Ricky said Kevin Owens could possibly turn heel. Like, there's that possibility. Are we talking about that, though? No, because people are just so butthurt that, we have another predictable match. But let's talk about what could happen, possibly.
He can be a heel. He can be a heel.
Pro wrestling in 2024, and I'm sick of it.
I miss prize fighter KO.
Man, I miss Kevin Owens when he was with Jericho, man. That was some of the best stuff back in 2017.
Oh, yeah.
When he held the Universal Championship, that was such a good run.
That was
until freaking old.
That list. Listen, I've heard Kato at work talking about that list stuff all the time to me. He used to get on my nerves with that. He was like, you made the list. You just made the list.
I did get him into wrestling, that's why.
Like, you just made the list.
Like, I'm sorry, Angelo. I gotta disagree, man. I think Bash at Berlin, they deserve a pass to have a fun friend versus friend match, honestly. But now when it comes to Bad Blood, we can't have friend versus friend in the Bad Blood pay-per-view or Premier Live event, okay? That's a different story.
Hold on. Time out real quick. Kevin Owens can turn heel because he's known for that too, by the way. You can't trust Owens all the way. He'll turn heel too, because you can't trust Owens all the way neither. Given his track record in the past, it does make sense for him to turn heel at this time too. It really does. If you think about it, it does make sense.
SmackDown is lacking the big main event heels. You're right.
Yep.
So congratulations.
Roman just got back. He's a face. He's like the biggest baby face on the roster, right?
Yep.
So now you need Owens can literally replace him low-key as the biggest heel on the fact.
Well, I feel like Randy Orton's about to do that once he comes back to SmackDown, but that's another topic for another day.
I thought he was on Raw officially now.
Nope, Randy Orton did. Gunter said after he beats him, he's sending his ass back to SmackDown. And then Randy Orton said that him and Gunter, so if Randy won, he would basically trade places with Gunter.
Oh.
So Randy would, I believe, permanently stay on Raw, while Gunter would have to go to SmackDown if that happened.
I thought he got traded. So then I'm like,
nope, not yet. It's not 100% trade. I think this is the reason why they're doing the match is because of what happened at King and Queen of the Ring, which in this case definitely makes a lot of sense.
Okay. At a certain point, it don't too, because like you're having a SmackDown superstar competing for my top championship too. That doesn't make sense somewhat to me. But the King of the Ring thing you just said, it does make sense. They had a good match too. That match was actually good. I remember watching it. Here, what you matter of fact, I remember watching them. That was a good match.
And they gotta kind of kill some time here because I feel like Randy and Cody. That's gonna be the next big program for Cody.
You know the thing about Gunter too. My bad for cutting you off. You know about Gunter when he wrestles, he doesn't have one finish.
You're right.
You don't know how you don't know how a Gunter match is gonna finish up. He might powerbomb, put somebody in a sleeper, or fly off the top rope, or just get a Randy Orton type of win. That's how good Gunther is, because he can finish the match in 1,000 ways.
But I do think, yes, it's predictable. Okay, whoopee. But now just sit back and enjoy the match. And the last thing I'm going to say, just like I said earlier in this comment of the week, is think about what do you think will happen in this match, because everything Triple H does is all for a reason. But congratulations to Angelo on the comment of the week. If you want to get your comment featured on a future episode of the We Are Wrestling podcast, all you gotta do is leave a comment. It could be on our social media pages. It could be on the YouTube page. But the only way that you can get your comment featured is interacting and commenting. So with that being said, let's fly through the We Are Wrestling weekly news and rumors. Starting things off, according to Wrestle Purists, the current plan for Bash of Berlin is CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre in a strap match. What's your thoughts on this?
I 1,000% agree with it. Keep the feud going, keep it interesting, and then keep Drew McIntyre and CM Punk literally involved with each other, because that's literally the hottest feud on Raw. Well, apart from the Judgment Day feud we mentioned a few minutes ago.
It is one of the hottest on Raw.
It's one of the hottest feuds in WWE right now and on the Raw roster. And then that'll give CM Punk something to do still, and that'll give Drew McIntyre something to do. Now, he's going off momentum off his SummerSlam win, so why not give him more momentum? And Seth Rollins is going to be out for a minute. But Seth Rollins, I see him and Bronson Reed going head-to-head too. So,
yep, I don't think that's going to happen at Bash of Berlin, though.
Keep Rollins out of the feud. Keep Rollins out of the feud for a little bit. Let him feud with Bronson Reed. Get that out of the way. And then by the time Punk and Drew is done with their feud, it'll be Punk and Rollins right after that.
I do want to say this, though, about the Bronson and Seth Rollins thing. I do hope that this isn't just like a one-match feud with Bronson and Seth, because I feel like if they're going to invest in Bronson Reed, I think when Rollins comes back, whether it's at Bad Blood, Survivor Series, whatever PLE it is, or Monday Night Raw, the first match that they have, I think Bronson Reed needs to beat Seth to really solidify him as this monster, because they've already done it. They did a great job with him. But we've seen under Triple H when it comes to heels. And they get a great heel turn. Shinsuke Nakamura, nobody saw it coming. It was great. But then having him lose time after time to Seth Rollins only just sent him right back to catering, where he shouldn't be. He should be in the ring performing. I really wanted him to be world champion personally, but yeah, like when it's all said and done, like when Triple H is doing these big heel turns, people talk about it and then they lose that momentum. Like Karrion Kross, when the man literally made his debut, he targeted Roman and then did nothing after that. And look at him now. So when it's all said and done with Bronson Reed, he needs to beat Seth Rollins, and then you can have him wrestle again at like Survivor Series or something, and Rollins can get the win. They can move on. But I feel like with CM Punk and Seth Rollins, we need to keep them away from each other until WrestleMania season. That should be the WrestleMania build.
This reminds me of Bronson Reed's push. Reminds me of when he was Jonah in New Japan, right? So I forgot what year it was. I think it's 2021 or 22. It's the G1 Climax. Jonah took on Okada, right? So Okada literally was undefeated that whole G1 until he ran into Jonah. Now, nobody had Jonah beating Okada. Now, as soon as Jonah had the 1, 2, 3, Bronson Reed, he had the one, everybody in the crowd like this. He beat the Golden Boy. He beat Okada. Everybody's like this. He beat Okada. Jump. And I thought he was going to take off from there, right? But then the next New Japan event, I forgot, I think it was Fighting Spirit or something, because I was watching it. Jonah lost. Bronson Reed lost. Act like nothing happened. I thought Jonah was going to get the push of a lifetime, but after that, nothing happens. That's what I see with Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed. I don't want to see that happen again. Like you just said, Donnie, I need to see Bronson Reed get a decent push out of this, because that New Japan G1 match, I wasn't convinced until he won. I'm like this. Yo, he just beat Okada. I was looking at my TV like, am I bugging right now?
But you see, that's how, Ricky, you get away from the whole predictable thing. And I feel like having Bronson beat Seth Rollins, that will legitimately like solidify him as this monster that they need to do. Like, one thing I'm getting pissed off with the last couple weeks, I want to see the police officers get involved. Imagine getting the police officers friggin' with the visuals of him getting handcuffed into like a police car or fighting the officers back. That could even add more to this dominant heel character that he's doing. So like, it's the little details that like frustrates me about that. But getting into the strap match though with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, personally, I want to see this happen. I think that this would be a great match for the two. McIntyre's been running away from Punk the last couple weeks since SummerSlam, getting that win. So why not have them in a strap match where they can't run away from each other? I think that this is where CM Punk should win. So it's 1-1, and then Hell in the Cell, that should be like the final match between the two. Or you can just move on. But with Bad Blood, like, I feel like you need to have like solidified rivalries in there. So I think the rubber match should be inside Hell in the Cell. CM Punk, Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, and I think
Punk should win the strap match.
Yeah. I think he should win the Hell in the Cell too.
Yep, I think Punk should too.
I think he should win the Hell in the Cell too.
Because I think McIntyre getting that win at SummerSlam definitely helped him.
Yeah. And then Punk, and then McIntyre.
That's he doesn't need Bronson's got to beat him.
He doesn't need the win right now. Drew doesn't need this win right now. He's very good right now. Like, even if he loses, he'll still be good because Drew's got a lot of momentum behind him right now, and him losing this feud does not hurt him at all. Because Drew's had a good year too. Drew's been having a good year so far.
Fantastic year.
Top 5, top 10 probably.
And one thing that they could do, here's another thing, Ricky, that I think a lot of people aren't talking about. Here's another thing that they could do. After the feud with CM Punk and McIntyre, what says that WWE can't do like a trade? McIntyre goes over to SmackDown where they need to have a heel go against Cody Rhodes. And then CM Punk can try to focus on the World Heavyweight Championship, but then Seth Rollins is also trying to get after the World Heavyweight Championship. So there you go. And Triple H already said some crazy shit's about to happen. So we're just going to have to wait and see. But moving on now to our next weekly news and rumors. According to the Wrestling Purists, the current plan for AEW All Out is Hangman Adam Page versus Swerve Strickland. What's your thoughts on this?
This is Hangman. Hangman can finally get his revenge. Because, like, the last few weeks, actually, he's been walking around angry and everything. Like, he's literally like CM Punk. I mean, he's like Drew McIntyre's hatred for CM Punk. Like, Paige has so much hatred towards Swerve, he's just letting it loose on the locker room, though. Like, he's attacking everybody. He's getting in everybody's face. Like, his main mission right now is to get Swerve for literally breaking in his home and being in his kid's room. Like, this man eats, breathes, and sleeps Swerve Strickland on his mind. Why not bring him back as a legitimately pissed off heel, running through the whole roster, beating everybody up? And we all think he's the heel. In reality, he's literally the good guy the whole time. We're just mad at him because Swerve has reached the top. Hangman is not wrong. He is not wrong at all to feel the way he does. Swerve started all of this. You remember that, right? You remember that?
Yes, I do.
You remember that?
I remember the whole storyline.
Swerve started this. Swerve's rise to the stop came at Hangman's suspense. And after Hangman got out the way, courtesy of Swerve, Swerve was literally the man of the world. He was on top.
And here's how I feel about all this when it comes to Swerve and Hangman. I love Bryan Danielson, don't get me wrong, but this rivalry has been the feud that everybody has been talking about. Mm-hmm. This should be main eventing AEW All In at Wembley, not Bryan Danielson versus Swerve.
Hold on, time out real quick. Let me sidebar you real quick. Now, when that match, who's the heel? The Swerve is turning. He's showing heel signs right now. Like when that match,
it's not helping him. It's not helping him at all with this.
Well, who's turning heel though? Who's going to be the heel in that situation for real? Paige. Was Paige right the whole time being angry, or has Swerve strolled his true colors?
And that's the thing, though. Like, they have, like, the best storyline going on that's been going on for the last couple years. Yep. So why the hell are they not main eventing All In? They have the history. People are more invested in that. Yep. I love Bryan Danielson. Don't get me wrong. But, like, he's even come out and said, like, he doesn't even want to hold the world championship because he's just focused on having great professional wrestling matches, which I don't blame him because right now he's in the final stage of his career. So I don't really like mind that at all, but
you gotta have a championship run.
Hangman, I feel like is more. I'm invested more than I am Danielson and Swerve because Swerve right now is one of the top baby faces in AEW. So why are you going to put him against an underdog Bryan Danielson? Because that right there is already like making him lose that credibility, being over as a face.
Okay. Nah, because I was just about to ask you that question.
Because, man, Bryan Danielson, dude, like when he's an underdog chasing a friggin' championship, there's no competing against that as a babyface. We've seen it on WWE. We're seeing it right now.
So you think this is like, hold up. So you think this is like a temporary heel turn for Swerve? Like his heel tactics, is this like, and then he's going to go back to face with Paige? Because Swerve is trying to bring out, he's trying to bring out Danielson's other side for one last match, probably. So, could you think his tactics are working? You think they're working though?
Yes, and I will say this as well, Ricky. Too, for all out, like if this is rumored to happen, Swerve versus Hangman. If it's not for the world championship, I'm not invested.
I agree
because hasn't Hangman said like he wants the world championship during this feud? He has, and he wants to get his revenge on Swerve. So, like. That's the thing. Like, if they're going to make this a match at All Out, if you're not going to have the world championship on the line, if Danielson does win, then it's like, what's the point?
Do you see this like as a hold on, you think this hatred plays a big factor too? Like on top of you think this hatred plays an ultimate factor too? Do you think Hangman really is the face all along? That's what I'm saying in this a little bit right now.
Well, yes, I do. I do think so. I do because
you think Swerve will show his true colors?
Because if I'm Hangman and friggin' Swerve like went into my home and went into my kid's room, I would want to kill the guy. So of course Hangman's not in the wrong. It's just weird how pro wrestling is because even like Rhea, she's the one that freaking turned Dom on his dad.
The audacity. You know what's funny? Hold on.
And apparently she's the good guy.
Hold on. Time out real quick. Hold on. Like, imagine. Hold up. This is off the topic real quick. Imagine they go to Rey Mysterio for help. That'll be hilarious.
Oh my god, that would be comical. But I do think like Swerve and Hangman All Out like really just has no meaning if there's no world championship involved. But that's just me. And think about it. If Danielson wins at All In, he only has basically a fucking week to build up his next world championship match. That's why I hate the whole All In and All Out thing being like a week or 2 weeks apart. We need more time.
Nah, but he says his contract like he's not wrestling full time no more, right? So
yeah, he's not under a contract either, which I do like. It does make it unpredictable.
Okay.
Because I could see it going either way. But
I do
we're just
see
gonna have to wait and see.
I see Swerve beating Danielson though.
We'll get into that in our predictions next week.
Okay.
But
Then,
moving on now to our next We Are Wrestling weekly news and rumors. During an interview with Wrestling News, former WWE diva Kelly Kelly shared that she would love to work in Triple H's WWE. Should WWE give Kelly Kelly one final run?
No. I'm playing. Let me stop. I ain't hear from Kelly Kelly in years though, so I don't know how in shape she's in. I don't know if she's gonna be dedicated, motivated. She's just saying this stuff probably because Triple H is in charge, I guess. But I don't see anything out of it. If she's been dedicated, motivated, and been in shape, give her one more run. I can't recall Kelly Kelly doing anything good except probably winning the Divas Championship. And
she did have a good title run with the Divas title back in the PG. She had a good run with the title.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I do want to share my thoughts on this. So with Kelly Kelly coming back, I'm sorry, but she's very talented. I was a big fan of her work in WWE. Very nice, too. I've gotten the opportunity to meet her several times. But now I'm looking at this from a business side of it. And in my opinion, there's two ways you can look at this. Number one, you can have her back because she's well known in the WWE universe. So you can have her put over talent because sometimes bringing like former WWE stars back is a great way to get new stars over. But then there's the second thing where I feel like they shouldn't give her a chance here because when she left WWE, she pursued modeling and she hasn't done anything outside of WWE. So like, if she really wants to come back, I want to see her go to the independent circuit. I want to see her do something outside of WWE to prove that she is worth bringing back.
That's true. I agree with you. Because like I said, I don't know how in shape she's in. I don't know if she's going to be dedicated.
She did look good in the Royal Rumbles that she did make surprise appearances in.
Oh yeah. Other than that, though, like is she staying motivated too though?
But I want to see her like really prove that she wants to come back into professional wrestling. And I feel like you need to go out and get your stripes. But that's all I got to say about it.
Me too. I can't listen. I want to see her back, but then again, I'm too optimistic on the situation right now.
Me too, because there's so many people in the independent circuit. Because you and I, we appreciate professional wrestling. There's a lot of very talented women out there that deserve this opportunity. For example, somebody in Blitzkrieg Pro, who We Are Wrestling, we're a proud sponsor, Allie Ketch. Fantastic professional wrestler who I really think deserves to be on a bigger stage than she is. But like, that's what I mean. Like bringing in Kelly Kelly, who hasn't really done anything since leaving WWE in the wrestling business. It's taking away from somebody like Allie, who goes out in the independent circuit and she is busting her ass every freaking weekend.
You're right.
So like, I want people that actually want it to come.
You're right. I agree with you 1,000%.
Don't get me wrong. Like Kelly Kelly, I'm a fan of her. Like if she comes back, like I'm not going to be pissed off about it.
Hello.
There's so much talent out there, and I feel like if Kelly really wants it, go out and earn it. But moving on now to our next We Are Wrestling weekly news and rumors. we got an update about Daniel Garcia. According to Pro Wrestling Nexus, Daniel Garcia is conflicted about what he wants to do next, whether it's staying in AEW or entertaining the possibility of going to WWE. What's your thoughts on the updated reports? What do you think Daniel Garcia should do? I know
I'm
the
mad
last
at
couple
Daniel.
of weeks, Ben and I, we were talking about Garcia. We haven't really got to hear what you have to say.
I'm mad at Daniel Garcia. I'm very mad. I'm very
That's
mad.
it?
I'm
You're
very
just mad at him?
Supposed to be him and MJF.
Yeah.
Him and MJF. I'm mad. You know why I'm mad?
I know why you're mad, because you know MJF's going to whoop Will Ospreay's ass, and you wish it
No,
was Daniel
I ain't
Garcia
mad
getting
at
his
that.
ass whooped.
That's not what I'm mad at. It was supposed to be him. It was supposed to be him and MJF at All In. And then Daniel Garcia is getting conflicted now. What he wants to do. You had a big feud right in front of you.
He did have the opportunity.
I ain't mad at that. I'm not mad at the Will Ospreay. I don't even care no more. I got over that. I'm just mad at the fact you got a big opportunity to rise your star up to another level. And I'm not hating. Like, I'm not an MJF hater. I talk a lot of shit. I'm not an MJF hater. But you have your stock. Like, you have your moment right there. And they probably would have let you beat MJF. They probably could have. Give you some momentum. But then you just had to mess it up. You let this guy turn heel. You gave this guy a big ego again. And now I got to hear it every week because of you. I got to hear this guy talk every week. I got to hear this guy do this and that. I wanted to see a face MJF. But now I got to hear this guy every single week. Talk about this and that.
The American hero, Ricky. He's our American hero.
American hero.
Show
what?
some respect.
American hero what? But then let me get back to it. No, you got a big feud. Look, everything's good for you. The next level's right there. I don't know why you want to go to WWE. They're going to literally bury Garcia. I already see it. Because if you're conflicted on a contract and you don't know where to go, that's trust issues right there in the companies too. WWE,
Yeah, but okay, but here I gotta play a devil's advocate here, Ricky, because Daniel Garcia going to WWE, honestly, it's really not the worst thing for him to do, because so far in WWE, every AEW person that has gone over, pretty much for the most part, has been better in WWE than they were at AEW, except for Jade Cargill, in my opinion.
No, but you got the spotlight. Listen, I even say it. I'm not gonna lie. MJF's one of the biggest stars in AEW, right? You're literally going toe to toe. You got the spotlight on you with the biggest star in AEW right in front of you. You can make a story, a situation. You can build your whole stock on top of that and put it all together in one. Instead, now you're conflicted to go to WWE. I don't think Daniel Garcia should go to WWE. Like, the red carpet's out for him to prove himself officially now with MJF. I don't know why you want to go to WWE right now, my man. You got it all.
Honestly, Ricky,
right
I can tell you why. So the reason why Daniel Garcia might want to go to WWE is because every time AEW has given him the brass ring or gave him the ball, he has taken it to the end zone. And every time he's there, they always find a way to fuck it up. For example, when he was a part of the Jericho Appreciation Society, he was over. People kept chanting, "You're a wrestler," because he was doing the whole sports entertaining thing. And they had the perfect opportunity to pull the trigger and turn him into a star right then and there. And what did they do? They just dragged it on. They dragged it on until the Jericho Appreciation Society was dead. And he really never got anything out of it except for this. His dance, which is over with the crowd, but like, we know how much talented he is as a professional wrestler. So like, I don't know, man. I feel like with Daniel Garcia, going to WWE might not be a bad thing because he's very young. He has potential, very talented, and clearly he could be a sports entertainer. He got very over with what he was doing. Everything he was given, he went out and he delivered. And I feel like with NXT now going to the CW and now hitting the road, I feel like having him and Ricky Starks could be a huge thing for WWE on NXT. Imagine that first episode. We get Daniel Garcia and Ricky Starks. Man, Garcia is going to be a bigger star doing that than being in AEW, continuing to get the opportunity to go to the end zone with the ball and then doing nothing.
I feel like this was going to be the
Garcia should have
changing
been a
moment.
fucking TNT champion by now. He should have been an international champion by now.
No, not over Osprey. No. Let me stop right there. Hold on.
Come on, you know Garcia deserves to be a champion.
Yeah, he does, but not over my. No. Let me get back to what I was saying. What I was saying is like, I think this could have been the changing factor officially though, for Daniel Garcia, the feud with MJF and wrestle him and all that. I think this could have been it for him. I think everything you just said is true, but I think this one right here, I think MJF would have put Daniel Garcia over because he did say Daniel Garcia, he's one of the next ones up. He did say that. So
he did put him over. You are right.
If you mean it in the promo, then that means you're gonna put him over, and I think MJF was gonna put him over at that moment.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate because I think but I will say like this will be a huge loss for AEW. I think if Garcia does go over to WWE because he is super talented, and I think regardless what Daniel Garcia does in this little free agency period, I think it's only just going to benefit him. I think if he goes to WWE, he's going to get over. He's going to be a star over there. I think if he goes back to AEW, he fits the mold over there. He's a professional wrestler. And I think that he's going to be a bigger star. So I think regardless, he's putting himself in a very good situation. But I think the more I'm seeing these reports bringing up the word conflicted, I feel like he's going to go over to WWE with Ricky Starks because that's one thing. If you go on social media, Ricky Starks and Daniel Garcia, they are close friends. So Ricky Starks could probably be trying to sway him to go to WWE.
No, you're right. I mean, the way you say it makes sense too.
I'm happy regardless where he goes because I think that he's got a bright future in the business.
I'm a listen. I'm a fan. I'm a little mad. Y'all done boost this kid's ego, MJF, back up. And that makes me mad a little bit. But I do agree. I wish Daniel Garcia the best though. I'm still mad at you, Garcia. But I wish you the best.
And you already know here on the We Are Wrestling podcast, we are going to continue to give you guys the updates and stuff with Garcia, whether he goes to AEW or WWE. My prediction, I think he shows up at the first episode of the CW. So the first episode in October, I think Garcia will make his NXT debut. But moving on now to our next weekly news and rumors topic. According to PW Insider, Michael Cole has announced that Dakota Kai will be undergoing surgery for a torn meniscus shortly. The expectation is that she'll be out for about 2 to 3 months. What's your thoughts on this? Because I know this isn't the first time that she's gotten injured.
Didn't she just get back?
Record.
Didn't she just get back?
She did just get back.
I wish you a speedy recovery. That's all I got to say about that. It's word of Stone Cold. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, no, obviously, like we do wish her a very fast, speedy recovery. It's just unfortunate, like how many injuries like she continues to get in WWE. So I hope that she comes back and she is healthy because right now she's been picking up some momentum with the whole damage control thing.
Thanks.
But at least it's only for a couple months. So that's definitely a better sign than her being out for a whole year because I know that's happened to her multiple times in her WWE run. But moving on now to our next We Are Wrestling weekly news and rumors. AEW plans on having another stadium show. According to Sporting News Australia, AEW reportedly is planning on hosting a stadium show in Australia during 2025. Possible venues include Sydney's Stadium, Melbourne's Marvel Stadium, and Brisbane's Suncorp Stadium, with entertainment company TEG understood to be backing the event. What's your thoughts on AEW starting to do more shows outside the United States? Do you think them going to Australia would be a good move?
They're trying to expand their fan base. They're actually seeing which fans are actually dedicated to the product, and then they want to see if it'll be successful, which I know it will be. But then they're just trying to see if it'll like the people that say they're fans, they're gonna see if they're actually gonna be in attendance. Like they want to see, they want this to work. So they're trying to figure it out in a certain audacity so it could work. So I think they're trying to expand globally, and they
I
probably got a lot of influence because I know a lot of people watch. But watching and going to events are two different things. And I
oh
know people,
definitely.
and I know it's hard. Like I know people got their personal lives, they got jobs. You got to make your money. I understand that, but sometimes these wrestlers they got to make their money too. And then the people that say they're fans, you say you're a fan, but then you have to show it too sometimes. But like I said, I know people got personal things outside of their life, so I'm not knocking you for that. But
So
don't just say it. You got to do it too sometimes too.
so I will say this about AEW expanding, like going to like Australia. I think that this is a great move for the company. And I think them going over there will be a great move to just expand their fan base globally. We saw how successful the first AEW All In was, and even the second one's going to have 50,000 plus people there. Not the same amount, but that's still a huge amount of numbers. And AEW, like when it comes to professional wrestling, it's more appreciated outside the United States. Like, look at New Japan Pro Wrestling, look at AAA, look at all these talented professional wrestling companies. The fans are die hard outside the United States, a lot more die hard than we are, which is why WWE PLEs, when they do international ones, they shit on any United States one. And I think AEW doing this is a brilliant move. WWE, obviously, some of the best PLEs they've done have been outside the United States. So for AEW to have a stadium show in Australia, brilliant business move by TK.
Yeah, and I actually like it. I want to see where it goes from here, and then you know, I want to see it keep going in the future too. So
Oh, definitely. Me too.
is
But moving
All In
on,
literally their WrestleMania though? That's my question.
All In is their WrestleMania, yes.
Okay.
I'm assuming they're in a freaking stadium.
Okay.
But moving on now to our next We Are Wrestling weekly news and rumors. Recently, in an interview with Collider, John Cena reveals he's planning to work around 36 dates for his WWE retirement tour. I have given the calendar year 2025 to WWE. I am retiring in 2025, and I start that farewell tour in January. It'll end in December, and it's going to be right around 36 dates around the world to pay thanks and gratitude to the WWE audience around the world. The audience has been there for me for close to 25 years, so now I want to say thank you. And of course, we already covered John Cena's like retirement thing. We did a whole extra on it. But now I want to talk, and I do want to talk about some of the things that the fans have been talking about because everybody is doing fantasy booking when it comes to John Cena's final run with the WWE. And some fans want John Cena to become a 17-time WWE champion, world champion, breaking Ric Flair's record, while others want John Cena to win the Intercontinental Championship to become a Grand Slam champion. So now, with 36 states going to be working, what do you think John Cena should do? Which path should he take, Ricky? Grand Slam champion or breaking Flair's record?
Hmm. This is a
You can
hard one to
only
pick
pick
here.
one, Ricky. You can only pick one.
All right. I mean, records are meant to be broken, right? But he's never won that Intercontinental Championship. Now, if I was a wrestler, I want to win every single championship I can. So you might call me crazy, but I would say he should go after the Intercontinental Championship. Simply because that's not the only championship. That's the only one he hasn't won. Plus, it has rich prestige and history to it. And a legend like John Cena to never hold that belt is a crime to me.
Yeah, no,
It's a
definitely
low-key
agree.
crime to me that he's never held that championship.
I'm surprised he's never held the Intercontinental. That's crazy.
You know, when I was younger, I thought he did, but then it confused me for the WWE title one time. No, this was back in 09. And I'm like this. I'm like, oh wait, that's not. Oh, that's the WWE title. I'm bugging right now. I thought he won the Intercontinental title. I'm like, but no, that has rich prestige and history to it. Like I said, And somebody like John Cena to never hold that belt, in my opinion, is a crime. So somewhere down the line, he earned the right to be an Intercontinental Champion at least one time. I think he should take the Grand Slam route. To me, I want to see him win that. I want to see him win that rich, legendary championship. Now the 17 time works, but I'm going with the Intercontinental, and not just because I want him to break Ric Flair's record. That's not it. I just need him this rich prestige championship. It's been there, seen his whole career, but he's never fought for it.
And to be honest with you, like, if I had to pick which road I want John Cena to take, I'm honestly going to have to go with you, Ricky, and go with the Grand Slam champion route, because with John Cena, we've seen him win the world championship 16 times. And I think him tying Ric Flair, I think, is already a huge accomplishment. I think with the Intercontinental Championship, I'm looking at it like, who do I want to see John Cena have a program with? Gunther, who is going to be one of the top heels in WWE for the next 5 to 10 years? Or do I want to see John Cena feud with Braun Breaker, who I think, in my opinion, Ricky, you already know how you feel about Leon Slater and Oku. You know how I feel about Mr. Braun Breaker. I think that this dude is going to be the next John Cena, the next Roman Reigns. He is going to be the one that is going to be carrying the WWE for the next 10 to 15 years, in my opinion. So if I think that this is the perfect opportunity here. I think timing is everything in professional wrestling. And I think John Cena versus Braun Breaker, there's a lot of money to be made. And I feel like having that passing the torch moment could be fucking huge for Braun Breaker. And John Cena and him, I think, would have great chemistry in the ring. And I just think overall, man, like, you can have Breaker beat Cena the first time, and then you could have Cena beat Breaker for the title. But then I would have the final match be John Cena and Breaker for the championship, and then Breaker wins it back. And that'd be the perfect passing the torch moment.
Because I want to see. Listen, I wouldn't mind him breaking a record. I don't have no problem with that. But this championship right here, he never fought for it. And like I said, a lot of the greats have held this. The Intercontinental title is the stepping stone championship to the main event. And the Cena never winning it is a crime to me. Respectfully, it's just been a crime. Like, that championship's been there his whole career, but he's never encountered it. He's never even sniffed the belt. Never. He's never even thought about challenging.
And I feel like this is just like the perfect stamp to a perfect career.
And hold up. And Sheamus. I know you're not fond of Sheamus, but he's never won it either. I think he needs to get it too. Respectfully.
No.
Respectfully.
He's not John Cena.
Hold on. I'm not saying it like that. But like, some of the greats have never held that belt. I feel like all the greats should win that belt at least once or twice.
Sheamus does not need it. No. 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 What Sheamus needs to do in his career right now is just keep putting over these young stars. That's what he needs to do. Right now, his job needs to be putting Pete Dunne over. We need the Bruiserweight back. But with John Cena, man, I just think that, like, for his Hall of Fame career, yes, it would be huge breaking Ric Flair's record, but I think it would just be even bigger if he wins the Intercontinental Championship, because that's like the only thing he hasn't done yet in the WWE.
Yep, that deluded him his whole career. He doesn't
need it. I don't know, man.
Him
and Braun Breaker, I really want to see it.
He doesn't need it, but as a fan, as a John Cena fan, I want to see him win it.
I do too, definitely. But we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. But moving on.
Hold on, Braun Breaker called Cena out. He called him out.
He did.
He did call him out. So Cena.
Everybody's been calling Cena out, so we're just gonna have to wait and see until.
Braun Breaker, that's a highly killing match. The Cena, you better go for that, my man.
I don't know. I think I'd rather see John versus Braun Breaker than Cena versus Gunther. So we're just gonna have to wait and see.
I'm not mad at that.
Moving on now to our next We Are Wrestling weekly news and rumors. According to Fightful, talent close to Tommy Billington, Dynamite Kid's child, they say that he's been signed by AEW. What's your thoughts on this signing?
I love the kid. Love him. Love everything he stands for in that ring. He wrestles just like his dad or his uncle?
I believe it's his dad, Dynamite
His
Kid.
dad. He wrestles just like his dad. I seen that Takeshita match. I seen him wrestle Dax Harwood even. I'm like, yo, AEW, they got a diamond in the rough right here. Because because Donnie, I'm about the wrestler. So I pay attention to these matches. I'm like this. When I watch the Dynamite Kid, I'm like this. I'm like, yeah, he's one. Tony Khan, you better put a rocket on this guy low key. Not all the way, but better give this guy opportunities. Put him in the Don Callis family. Have him feud with a big guy over there, like a Roos or a Trent. Well, Trent's injured right now. Have him feud with Takeshita. You know what I'm saying? Have him feud with a mid card guy. Build his stock up. Have him as a baby face for a while. Let him join. Like I said, let him join the Don Callis. This guy.
No, keep him away from the Don Callis family. Are you trying to like career suicide him before he even makes his debut?
Listen. You might call me. Listen, I'm gonna do a hot take a little bit. That could help him a little bit in his career. He might need a mouthpiece early on. He might need a mouthpiece though.
Okay, when you say it like that with the mouthpiece, I do agree with you on that.
He might need a mouthpiece first because all the greats, they need mouthpieces first. The Dynamite Kid, Tommy Billing, he's got all the talent, the criterias. It's just the work and the dedication he has to do. The wrestling is there, but I gotta see. I don't like to put character progress in, but I gotta see a development with this guy because he's one of them. Like I said, Donnie, I'm with the wrestling, man, but I gotta see more of this kid because he got it.
So here's what I got to say about him, because I did watch the match on Collision, I believe. It was him versus Dax. And I think that the kid is very talented in the ring. Very, very talented for somebody who has not been doing it for a very long time. So I think him getting this contract by AEW, I think is a great move. And I think that he fits what AEW is looking for when it comes to professional wrestling. But the only thing that worries me is, how is he going to get over? Because obviously we know he's great in the ring, but there's so many other guys that are great in the ring that could do what he could do. So like, we are going to have to wait and see what happens. Like, I want to see like some character. I want to see some promo work from him, and then really decide like, okay, does he really have what it takes? Because he definitely could back it up in the ring 100%, which if you maniacs have not checked out him versus Dax, highly recommend checking that out. And I do have to agree with you. Him versus Takeshita, that could be a great feud. Him and Trent, that could be great. But there's one person in particular that I'm thinking about that I think could really put this kid over. And I don't know if he's ready for it, but honestly, I would have him versus Christian Cage.
Oh my God. Nah, we don't. Nah, leave the Dynamite Kid's name out of his mouth. Rest in peace to the Dynamite Kid. We don't need that right now.
But hey, it could put him over as a top babyface, though, in AEW. Think about it from that perspective. The fans are going to be behind him.
Yeah. Listen, I've been tolerating Christian Cage's trash talking about fathers for years, for almost 2 years. But the Dynamite Kid is off limits. No. The Dynamite Kid is one of those guys. He's one of those wrestlers I was watching a lot growing up. I can't do it. I'm gonna be mad at Christian myself now. Like, yo, I'm gonna have to see Christian Cage. I'm gonna have to see Christian Cage and talk to him. I'm like, yo, don't talk about the Dynamite Kid, man. Do not do it. Not while I'm here. Do not do it, brother.
Do not do it.
I agree with you, but I do agree with you.
It would be a great way to put him over.
That would be a good one, though.
That's
I'm all about like what makes sense too. So I'm like, that you are right with that one. I just don't.
But I will say though, I will say this: what they should do with Tommy first, in my opinion, I would personally just have him go to Ring of Honor first. Let him get his stripes over there. Let him hold a championship, maybe the pure title, maybe the Ring of Honor World Championship. I think that's a great way to kind of build his stock up. Let him gain that confidence, and then when he goes to AEW, when you repackage him and make his debut, then like he's going to go in there with more confidence, and he's not going to be green.
That I like that one. And he could be Mr. AEW because look at the Dynamite Kid, Dynamite.
Yep, there it is. Look at that. That's a slap in the knee right there.
That's a good one. But no, this kid's got it. He's got it. I'm a fan. I'm convinced. Like
I'm
I said,
definitely can't wait to see what
I
happens.
seen his matches with Dax Harwood, and I seen his matches with Takeshita. I'm convinced already.
Oh,
Like I said,
definitely, for sure.
character development, the promo, everything you mentioned, Donnie, he does need to step up, though. I do agree with you. But this right here, he's the one. Keep an eye out. He got to bulk up a little bit, too. He has to bulk up a little bit.
There's a lot of people in the AEW roster that need to bulk up, Ricky.
Nah, but he's one, like, when he gets there, you're going to see the difference, though. He needs it. He's good. He's good what he is, but when he bulks up, you'll see the difference. Because you always see who has the hit factor. You always see it from the jump. But like this kid, he has it. I'm telling you right now.
And that's the thing too, like in the video packages, like I want to see like New Japan clips of the Dynamite Kid, and I want them to really let him share his story because that's how you're going to get people invested. You can't just throw the man into a random match, and that's all I got to say about that.
I agree. No,
but I am rooting for him. I really want him to have a successful run because the kid is very talented.
Right. And he can surpass his father. He can surpass his father too.
That is some tough shoes to fill, but we're just going to have
to
to
excel it though. I think he can do it. As long as he keeps it. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. I got faith in Tommy. I do.
Speaking of another bright future professional wrestler, somebody that you're huge on, well, according to Fightful, sources in Rev Pro claim that Michael Oku and Amira are both close to signing with AEW and are expected to soon. What's your thoughts on this signing?
AEW's future is in good hands when this happens. AEW, your future's in good hands. I'm sorry. It's in good hands. Got the next big thing. Well, in my opinion, I'm not going to talk. You got the next big superstar on your hands. Michael Oku is that guy.
So here's the thing,
AJ Styles, Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, Leon Slater, Michael Oku. There you go. Go ahead, Donnie.
Okay, so here's what I want to ask you because obviously you are very familiar with a lot of the international professional wrestlers, and Michael Oku, he's done a lot of stuff for Rev Pro, a lot of stuff in the British scene. And what can people expect from him? But before you do answer that, I think that this is the perfect time for a Ricky Knows Best intro because I only watched Michael Oku's highlights against MJF, which, by the way, fantastic match, and the kid definitely has talent. But you know a lot more than I do, so I think it's time for some Ricky Knows Best.
Ricky knows best, ladies and gentlemen. Ricky knows best. Believe in me. God bless you. It's me, Ricky Williams. Moxley's just as crazy as him.
Go, Ricky! Bullshit!
They do it too sometimes. I'll be catching it. It's me, Ricky Williams. Stop playing. But that's my opinion.
You're so over.
Ricky knows best, ladies and gentlemen. Ricky knows best. Believe in me. God bless you.
So, Ricky, give us a little lesson on Michael Oku for some of us that don't know who he is. And, what can we expect during his AEW run if he does sign?
He's literally a hybrid wrestler. He's literally a high flyer, a technical expert, speed, strength, agility, literally a wrestling machine. You can put this man in a match with literally anybody on God's green earth, and he is going to deliver. He is a former British Rev Pro and the current British Rev Pro heavyweight champion, former cruiserweight champion, tag team champion, 2 match of the years, 2 classic all-time matches, and I'm not being biased, so just do not call me a biased man for this. Will Ospreay back in 2002. And Will Ospreay this year, 2 match of the years of the decades. And I'm not being biased. Just had a classic with MJF. Has wrestled Minoru Suzuki, Mike Bailey. This is the AJ Styles of Rev Pro. And call me crazy. You can call me whatever you want to call me. I don't care. I do not care. I don't care. I don't. But this guy right here, he is the next big thing in professional wrestling. I got a lot of faith in him. I know what I'm talking about. I've seen this before. People called me crazy when I said AJ Styles wasn't going to be it. They called me crazy when I said Kenny wasn't going to be it. They called me crazy about Will Ospreay back in 2015 when he wrestled AJ. They're like, oh, no. This kid's terrible. He's never going to make it. Fast forward to 2024. The greatest wrestler in God's green earth right now, Will God Ospreay. And y'all call me crazy. Y'all act like I don't be seeing this stuff.
Hey, Ricky, they called me crazy about MJF when I said that this kid was going to be the greatest of all time, and look at him now. Beat your boy Will Ospreay.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm not getting to that right now because I promised myself today I ain't getting into none of that. But
saving it for the predictions.
This guy Michael Oku. If y'all don't believe in this guy now, I better not hear y'all in 3 years saying, "Oh, I knew he was gonna be great." I don't want to hear that. I'm bringing this episode up 121 right now. I'm bringing this episode up, and I'm telling y'all, this kid is going to be special. Y'all better jump on my bandwagon right now when I say this stuff because they ended up doubting me at the last 3 names I just said. AJ, Kenny, they doubted me. Y'all better be on my bandwagon right now because I'm holding receipts from here on out. I'm holding receipts till I get to 40. I'm 31 right now. I'm holding my receipts till I get to 40. And if I see y'all switch y'all words up, I'm calling all of y'all out. I'm blocking all of y'all. And I don't even know half of y'all. I'm blocking y'all.
He's pulling a Dave Meltzer. He's gonna block your ass.
Yeah,
but now, I want to know a little bit more, Ricky, about his valet, Amira. Like, is she like also a professional wrestler, or is she just like a normal like valet? Like, doesn't have any wrestling? From what you know,
I think that's his girlfriend currently, if I'm not mistaken. I think she does wrestle, and I kind of hate her a little bit. She be putting her nose in too much wrestling matches.
Yeah, I heard something like in one of MJF's like interviews that he did, like he was talking about that. He's like saying like how like she has like no experience, like even though he's probably kayfabing it, but like he was like, I don't know why she got in the ring when she has no experience. She could have got really hurt.
Yeah. Hold up, he's not lying. MJF, I kind of agree with you. So she got involved in Will Ospreay's matches twice, and Ospreay literally knocked her head off the first one, if I'm not mistaken.
Wait, what?
I think he knocked her head off the first one. He did one of them.
Wait, did he do an Ospreay cutter on her? Or did he like kick her head off?
I think it was a hidden blade. I don't remember. I seen him do it though.
Tiger Driver 91.
No, because when MJF was about to do it to her,
that'd be nuts.
Because when MJF was about to do it to her, I was actually cheering. I'm like this until Ospreay came out, and then I'm like this. Yeah, it's all been neutralized now. But no, Moku. Remember, I said this. We are wrestling.
We're gonna have to clip it.
Wrestling podcast, episode 121. Remember, I said this. Don't jump on the bandwagon until I get to 40. Y'all got 2-3 years before this kid jumps off. I'm telling you. I guarantee it. Ricky knows best. I know best. I know what I'm talking about. I see these things. If y'all don't see this now, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear that. Oh, I know. Oh, and like I said, I knew this. I knew this already. I knew this. Y'all said Donnie was crazy about MJF. I'm telling you, I'm not crazy about Michael Oku. I'm telling you. Will Ospreay my guy right now, but Michael Oku is right behind him. When AJ and Kenny retire, these two, along with Leon Slater, that's my big 3 right there. Kyle Fletcher, if they book him right, before.
Kyle Fletcher, I don't see the hype. Like, he's talented, but like I feel like he's just another great pro wrestler.
I think in my opinion, he's lost in the shuffle a little bit.
His personality is fucking on television.
No, I think he's lost in the shuffle because him with Don Callis. I think if you put him by himself, I think Kyle would skyrocket. I promise you.
Yeah, we're just gonna.
You see Aussie Open. You see how good he is at Aussie Open. He's a good tag team wrestler. You know that.
Aussie Open's fantastic. I love the group.
I don't know. Hold on, my bad. Mark Davis, you need to get back ASAP too. You want
there's a lot of Kyle Fletcher fans that don't want him to come back because they feel like he's gonna hold Fletcher back.
Golly, that's crazy, bro. Oh wow. Come on, man. Y'all can't count Mark Davis out yet. Mark Davis is just as good. Because I remember they gave him a push in New Japan as a singles wrestler when Kyle was down. And he did his thing. He delivered. So y'all better stop hating on him. But back to Michael Oku, though. This guy right here, I'm telling you, Donnie, remember this episode? I said this crap. Just remember.
Oh, we're definitely going to be clipping this 100%.
Because if I watch these watch alongs with you and I see, Michael Oku's, he's been my favorite. I'm not hearing that. Because every We Are Wrestling we did, I never heard y'all say his name once. I never heard it.
Well, we finally brought him up in the We Are Wrestling universe, so now
I'm not hearing that. Nope. Y'all
let
better
us know.
jump on
Let
my
us know in the comment section below your guys' thoughts on Michael Oku from what you
Listen,
know.
y'all better jump on my bandwagon now because I'm kicking y'all off if y'all be doing this line stuff around here. Y'all like Stu from Coming to America. Y'all don't want to pay y'all rent, so y'all jumping down the stairs. Well, I'm not doing that.
Oh,
y'all
shit.
pay my rent.
All I know is from seeing what I saw with him versus MJF last weekend in the UK, man, at Rev Pro, I think the future is bright, and I really hope that this turns out to be a great signing for AEW. Hopefully he doesn't get lost in the shuffle, because clearly at Rev Pro, they trust him to work with a lot of these bigger names like Ospreay.
See?
And,
Yep. You want it.
With all these guys, man, some of the New
You want
Japan guys, and even working with MJF. Like, MJF is not going to work with somebody that he doesn't feel comfortable being in the ring with. So clearly he knows how talented Oku is by working with him, and even letting him pretty much get put over in this match.
MJF.
So, with Oku, man, I'm excited to see what's going to happen here, because I've watched highlights, but now it's different watching highlights and watching
the matches,
him
right?
on a weekly basis on television. So
Yep.
I really do hope this works out for him. I feel like this is another case where they should give him that Rev Pro rub, send him the Ring of Honor, let him get used to American television, and have him have a good run with the World Championship or something. And then when the timing is right, bring him up to AEW and let's see what they could do.
Future is in good hands with that brother. I'm telling y'all right now. MJF, say thank you too. Put you over. Say thank you.
Well, MJF was the one that won at the end. But moving on now to our next and our last We Are Wrestling weekly news and rumors. We got another update on Jacob Fatu. According to Ricky's favorite journalist, Dave Meltzer.
Not my favorite.
They're basically trying to have Jacob Fatu completely avoid Roman Reigns, because everyone has to sell for Roman Reigns, and they want to keep Jacob Fatu special by not bumping around for Roman Reigns. So he's going to be gone when Roman is around until whenever the time is right to hook them up. That's the situation. I can't say he's not hurt, but everything that's happening was planned to happen. I could say that, as far as avoiding those two locking up for now until later when they will lock up. I think they want Roman with Solo first and then Jacob Fatu after that. PW Insider also reported that Fatu will be returning by the end of August. What's your thoughts on these reports?
That makes sense. First off, that old geezer is not my favorite journalist. That's number one. Number two,
Rick, you love him. You like to talk about his 5 stars.
No, I don't. No. Anyway, I think it makes sense for them not to interact at a certain point, because Jacob Fatu is literally what's that word? He's a larger than life character, but he's playing fiddle to Solo Sikoa at the moment.
He's the Batista to Solo's Triple H.
Yep. I think everybody sees it, and you see it probably. Jacob literally outshines Solo in every single category. Everything. Only thing is they're holding them back. And to him to interact with Roman right now, I think they do need to save that. I do agree. Because it adds so much more energy. Because you're putting two animals in a cage against each other. Solo's an animal too, but he lost it after becoming the so-called leader of the bloodline. And then I don't like...
Man, Solo not getting these big wins, they really need to figure something out with him, because at this point, that's what's holding this bloodline thing back from really taking off.
But you knew he wasn't going to win the he wasn't going to win the world title. We all knew that.
Of course not. Cody's retaining.
So it's like this too. It's like this because he's in the main event, but he's kind of lost in the shuffle of what you're going to do with him too. He's the main event, but he's only there for the big matches. He's good for chasing the titles and chasing the big feuds. He's not going to win the big ones just yet. Now, call me crazy, but he could take the U.S. title off LA Knight. Call me
I was
crazy.
just going to say that, Ricky.
Call
I
me
was
crazy.
literally just going to say that. You're cooking. You're cooking.
Call me crazy, but he can take the U.S. title off of LA Knight. But right now, I have to see LA Knight hold that belt a little longer. Around the Royal Rumble, maybe I can see him win it.
Royal Rumble, I could see that happening. Yep.
I could right there. Like let
Yep, you're onto
LA Knight
something.
build prestige to that championship because
Yep.
Logan Paul, he stunk the title up a little bit. He made it valuable and seen and stuff. He wasn't a bad champion.
Bad creative.
It was bad creative and inconsistency. That's it. He wasn't a bad champion to me. It's just like 3 title defenses in 250 days. That's terrible as a champion.
I love how he brags about it too on his podcast.
No, that's terrible as a champion. Like I need my champion to show up to work every day.
No, I agree with you on that one.
I need my champion ain't showing up to work.
But honestly, like that's what Solo needs, though. If he can hold the United States Championship or something, that can kind of add some credibility to him a little bit. Because I feel like they need to get his stock back up so that when Jacob Fatu is just fed up with it, it could be a bigger pop for him. And it could really take Jacob Fatu off.
Jacob Fatu literally is like, let me tell you, the man's literally a powerhouse, a high flyer, and a technical marble. I can't describe this guy because he's probably, when it comes to the Samoa wrestlers, he probably is the most versatile of all time.
Oh, definitely, for sure.
He's the most versatile of all time. You can't tell me a guy doing Whisper in the Winds or moonsaults at his size so regularly like that. You can't tell me that. Or you can't tell me I'm doing a leg drop, a backflip, a suicide dive, even a super kick. So realistically, like you can't tell me that, man.
So here's what I got to say about the Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu interaction. I think this is great. I say they got to wait until the right time because timing is everything. And I feel like Roman Reigns, like I want to hear what he has to say. And I really hope tonight on SmackDown, he actually finally talks because I'm waiting to react and I want to hear what Roman's got to say. But I really do want to see where this can go with him and Fatu because they do have to wait until the right time. And I feel like that right time, you should be putting Roman and Solo inside Hell in the Cell and have Fatu. That's when he should be putting his hands on Roman and costing Roman that match and having Solo win. That could also add some credibility to Solo too.
No, I agree with you.
Capable of taking off, beating a guy like Roman Reigns? That's the real question.
I agree with you.
And I think only time will tell with that. But right now, Jacob Fatu, Roman Reigns, I think don't let them go near each other at all right now. I think it's good that Fatu is not on television. So let's just give it some time because it's going to be huge when it happens. But up next, we have our Getting Put Over segment and, of course, the main event topic. We'll be right back with more We Are Wrestling Podcast episode 121.
Hey, what's up, players? WWE Hall of Famer Teddy Long, and you are listening to the We Are Wrestling Podcast. And if you don't listen to it, then it's one-on-one with The Undertaker.
Are you looking for wrestling content? Well, We Are Wrestling provides everything pro wrestling. The best one, Donnie, Gins, and the Load Rager Ben, are wrestling marks like you who love this sport. We Are Wrestling has it all when it comes to wrestling content. We have different podcasts, vlogs, reactions, full wrestling matches, live pay-per-view watch-alongs, interviews, predictions, and so much more. Only on We Are Wrestling. What are you waiting for? Subscribe and become a We Are Wrestling Maniac now. We're back. And every week here on the We Are Wrestling Podcast, we do this thing called the Getting Put Over segment, where every week, usually Ben and I, we alternate. We pick one past, present, or future professional wrestler, and we put them over. Last week, we decided to put over Matt Hardy, which was Ben's choice. And this week, we're going to be putting over my choice, and that is the big booty daddy, big Papa Pump, Scott Steiner. And man, Scott Steiner, we're going to be putting him over this week. We got a statue of him, of course. because that's how we put over our talent. And Ricky, we'll let you start this off with the accomplishments in Scott Steiner's career.
Okay, Scott Steiner under the Jim Crockett Promotions, WCW. He is a former WCW World Heavyweight Champion. One time. He is a former WCW World Television Champion, which he's won 2 times. A former WCW United States Heavyweight Champion, which he has won 2 times. He is a former NWA WCW United States Tag Team Champion with his brother Rick Steiner only 1 time. He is a former WCW World Tag Team Champion 7 times with his brother Rick Steiner also. He is also a former IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champion 2 times also with his brother Rick Steiner. He is a former TNA World Tag Team Championship 3 times, 2 times with Booker T, and 1 time with Eli Drake, aka LA Knight. And then he is a former WWF World Tag Team Champion 2 times also with his brother Rick Steiner. So Scott Steiner has always been a larger than life athlete, a world champion, and he's been around the block millions of times.
And most importantly, too, Scott Steiner is a WWE Hall of Famer with his brother, Rick. I believe class of 2022.
That is legend. Man is a tag team specialist. He's an underrated world champion, but he is a tag team specialist to the fullest. When it comes to him, the Steiners have to be in that tag team GOAT conversation.
Oh, definitely, for sure. And I do want to put this out there, just like I did for Ben last week on the podcast. So with the getting put over, we only have one statue, and that is Scott Steiner right here. So eventually, we will probably be putting over the Steiner brothers at some point. But just like Matt Hardy, like we are going to talk about Scott Steiner's singles run as Big Papa Pump. And talk about some of our favorite moments, talk about some of our favorite matches, and just talk about Big Papa Pump, man. And I love this little museum thing that We Are Wrestling made. We got the Big Papa Pump logo, and we even have the math equation right there, one of his most iconic promos, which, man, when it comes to Scott Steiner, like, that was some of my favorite stuff, was his promo work throughout his career. Because, like, it was a complete 180 from what he was with his brother Rick. Just this like nice, innocent varsity like wrestler wearing his varsity jackets and singlets to like just becoming like just a badass doing the whole Big Papa Pump character. And I think like the whole presentation was great, like having like the blonde hair, having the shades, even having like the net that he like wore like on his head. I think the presentation looked great. And he gained a lot of muscle too during that time.
Something like that. My favorite Scott Steiner moment, you just said it, is the math promo. My other favorite Scott Steiner moment is, you might not remember this, but him and Bully Ray.
Oh, when he called him a fat ass.
No. There's another one. No. Remember, I don't know if you remember they
Look
were
at that,
Immortal.
you fat fuck.
No. I don't know if you remember they were in Immortal together. You know, Hogan's,
yeah. That was like 2010, 2011.
Yeah, they're trying to get Abyss some girls, and then Scott Steiner's telling them, he says he got freaks every 8 days of the week, 9 days of the week. Bully Ray said, there's only 7 days, and then he's telling Bully Ray, I'm the big bad bully, I'm the big bad daddy. What are you talking about?
Yeah, his interactions with Bully were great.
He's like this. He's like this. Do you want me to do it or not? He said he got freaks over here. And then my other one is like you just said. But then he said during a Main Event Mafia interview like this, he's fat.
Oh my God. Every time Scott Steiner had a feud with somebody that was bigger than him, I don't care about that fat fuck. I'll deflate him.
No,
Like,
it's like
he
every
was
time.
great.
Then I remember that time the Dudley's Team 3 day they turned heel and the Steiners turned face. And then he kept calling Bully Ray fat. Bully Ray's like that, stop calling me fat.
Yeah, no, one of my favorite Scott Steiner promos has got to be the ring announcing, like when Main Event Mafia took over on the episode of TNA Impact, and then Scott Steiner has this big piece of paper, and he's just like trying to like read the names, and he's like just completely like throwing things off here, pretty much like calling people like trash and ugly and fat. Just
He's
absolutely killing it on his ring announcing skills.
he's like he's fat. No, that's my favorite promo right there. Like, he's fat. And then I like the one with Bully Ray. That was my favorite. The math one is literally his GOAT one though.
Oh, dude, nothing beats the math one. Like even today, like even Braun Breaker did it in a segment in NXT. MJF did it with him and Adam Cole. It's very iconic. The math equation. The chances of you beating me is something, something, something. But no, here's another good one too. So Scott Steiner did this backstage promo. This was like leading to TNA Destination X. And I think this was like 2009. And he's sitting there like just pumping iron. And basically like he cuts his promo on Samoa Joe and just like completely shits on him. And like says, oh, because you have face paint, like that doesn't mean like you're a badass. I still think you're a fat bastard. And then he basically, and then he talked about how he would eat Samoa Joe up like a cheeseburger, and that Joe was like smothered in Twinkies. Like Scott Steiner, I feel like his TNA promo work was like on a whole nother level with his career. Like, yeah, he cut good promos in WCW. WWE, he never got that opportunity, but in TNA, he was just like a whole nother animal with his promo work. Like he didn't even have to win matches to be put over. All you needed to do is put him in an interview and just let him just shoot the shit.
I miss. They need another. There's never going to be another Scott Steiner in professional wrestling. I ain't like. Let me tell you something. I didn't like Scott Steiner at first years ago.
Yeah,
I didn't like
Scott.
that he turned. I didn't like that he turned on his brother back and joined the NWO. That's the only reason. But that's different. Like that was when I was a kid though. So I'm like, and
That was a great moment though for him because he was the Shawn Michaels to Rick Steiner being the Marty Jannetty.
Yeah, you're right. But I didn't
Because
like.
Steiner definitely had a better singles run than Rick.
I didn't like it at the time though, because I was a kid. Like you were a kid, so you seen things differently back then. And then I was a kid because I didn't know the business. I didn't know the wrestling business that I know it now. So it's just like when he joined up with the NWO, it was just like again, like everybody was joining up with them back then. I'm like, yo, we don't need all of this crap, man. We got enough people joining the NWO. We don't need enough. We don't need enough.
And that's the thing, like in the later days of WCW, like I feel like he was like one of the only good people left during that time.
He was one of the cornerstones. Him, Goldberg, Kevin Nash agreed to disagree. Booker T. I think Booker T was he's the unsung hero of WCW later in the career, the late run.
Ooh, but I will say one of my favorite matches with Scott Steiner has to be that final Nitro match with him and Booker T. I really enjoyed that one.
Oh yeah, I liked him and Goldberg too.
I had this on my list too. Fall Brawl 2000.
Yep.
I thought that was a great match too.
And then I did like him and Triple H.
Yeah, I do want to kind of talk about his WWE run now. So after WCW closed the doors, after the whole invasion angle with WWF versus WCW at Survivor Series in Madison Square Garden 2002, I feel like one of the most coolest returns of all time, man, was Big Papa Pump at Survivor Series. I thought that was a great like introduction to the Big Papa Pump character. And then having him like on Raw and SmackDown, Stephanie and Eric trying to like sway him to sign with their brand, I thought was great. And then getting into Triple H, that was like his first big feud. And I felt like it could have been so good, but I felt like they should have like given Scott Steiner more, like he should have built his rep up in WWE. Have him work with some of like the mid-card heels during that time, and then eventually get to Triple H and then really like make this a huge rivalry. Because I felt like with a lot of the WCW people, they just immediately threw them to Triple H, and then they got buried, and then they did nothing after that. Like Goldberg, they threw him right into The Rock and then went right to Triple H.
You know how, but you did know, you knew how Goldberg was, though. You knew, like, years later, you're finding out how Goldberg was. I'm not mad at it, but
no, but like Scott Steiner, like,
you?
the stuff was great with Triple H. Like, I enjoyed the matches that they had. I enjoyed the segments, especially like the arm wrestling and like the pose off, I think was great. But like, man, like Scott, I felt like they should have waited a little bit to really build that reputation up.
I'm sorry, respectfully. His TNA run was actually a little better.
Yeah, his WWE run, it was very short too. It was Survivor Series 2002 to like WrestleMania like 2004. Like he really didn't have a long run during the Ruthless Aggression.
Yeah. The TNA run kind of made up for it though.
Oh, definitely. Because I feel like in WWE, like with Scott Steiner, if you just let him have the mic and just shoot the shit, you're going to get the best shit. But if you have him friggin' read a script, you're not going to get the big Papa Pump character that people were invested in. You got to just let him just go off the rails. He was a great heel during his WCW time, especially like insulting the fans. Like he was one of the best at doing that. And like WWE doesn't like that. So like they kind of took away something that he was really good at. And when you do that, you're kind of already setting an anchor up on him and he's set to fail.
Yep, you're right. You ain't even lying because sometimes it be like that, but then when it's too late at certain situations, you kind of feel like it's not gonna work anymore neither. So then after that, you're gonna have to scrap the entire thing. You're like, peace.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I will say one of my favorite feuds with Scott Steiner, besides the Triple H one, I did enjoy what he was doing for a little bit with Test. I think that they had a great match at Unforgiven 2003. The whole winner gets the services of Stacy Cabler, which didn't even go anywhere because then after that they like started tag teaming.
Hold on. Let me tell you something. Hold on. Let me get to that real quick.
Which made no sense.
Let me get to that real quick. I don't care if it's scripted or not wrestling. I am never putting a storyline. If I had a girlfriend, she is not in it. I am quitting the company if that's the case. Would never put my girlfriend in a storyline ever in my lifetime. If I had one, I don't have one. I'm single, but you know what I'm saying. I'm like this, yeah. Nope. Hey, Ricky. Hey, Ricky, kitty. Nope. What do you think I am, Scott Steiner? No. No. Nope. Respectfully denied. No, go ahead. What you were saying, Donnie. My bad.
Respectfully decline. But yeah, with Scott Steiner though, like it's unfortunate because like he did have a great run towards the end of WCW, but a lot of people didn't see that because at the time nobody really cared about it because the company was just falling down. And then like in WWE, like they had the perfect debut. They had him working with Triple H, and then having him just kind of get buried in the process of it really didn't like help him at all. But I do like that he was able to go to TNA for quite some time and work
align himself with Jeff Jarrett over there. Align himself with Jeff Jarrett, Christian Cage.
Yeah, the Jeff Jarrett stuff was good.
And he was world championship material. It was just the wrong time for him. Because he wasn't getting it over Samoa Joe. I'm telling you that.
But that's one thing though with Scott Steiner too. Like he was a major part of TNA because of the Main Event Mafia, one of the best factions in TNA wrestling history. And just Scott Steiner, like he didn't even have to like win big matches. He didn't have to be a big star over there. Just his presentation, just his promo work, his interviews really like helped a lot of the original TNA guys in the process. And Scott Steiner only like made not only himself better, but he was making other people better in the process. And during that time, like him and Booker T, like I enjoyed their tag team run with the titles. And one thing I really did like that got a lot of shit was Petey Williams and Scott Steiner. I actually really liked that when he was mentoring Petey, and then the whole Feast or Fire thing with the briefcase took it from Petey Williams. But then Williams eventually got the X Division title. I felt like they should have given Scott Steiner the world title during that time. Like he should have had at least one TNA world title run.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's always
that roster was pretty stacked though.
It was hard too because like you had a lot of top guys over there in TNA at the time. Like everybody wasn't gonna win that world. You see Abyss, right? 1-time champion over there. He ain't never sniffed
Short
that belt
run
again.
too.
Samoa Joe only had one reign. He literally was the Goldberg over there, though. He ain't never have another reign after. It's hard to be world champion because certain guys also don't want to be world champion millions of times either. They're good with chasing the belt. So I'm not mad at that. A lot of guys are good chasing the belt. Shawn Michaels, he didn't want to win the belt after 02 because he was a Christian. He was changing his stuff up, and everybody kept saying stuff about him. But he put over all the talent. He chased the championship.
And he still looked really good in the process of doing it
He
too.
was strong at it. He was strong with it. He ain't need the belt to be over anymore. I think that's the same case with Scott Steiner. It's just it was a stacked roster at the time. That's it. If it was if they didn't have that much talent, I bet you he would have won a world title once, just like you said.
Oh, 100%. And with Scott Steiner, I think he's just one of those guys that had a very super underrated career. Like, obviously, like everybody, like any old school wrestling fan knows that he is a tag team specialist. He was a part of one of the best tag teams of all time, the Steiner brothers. And I think a lot of his singles run stuff, like, really just gets like thrown under the rug. And that's why, like, I love this We Are Wrestling getting put over segment. Not only do they get an awesome looking statue like this one right here. Whoop, there we go, right there. Friggin', we're able to actually talk about their careers, talk about our favorite moments, and we actually get to put them over. So I really enjoyed putting over Scott this week.
In facts.
But
I just
guys,
found I was just it caught me off guard because, like I said, I've been having things in the last 2 episodes, so I haven't been here. And then I'm like this. I was gonna tell you, I was gonna mention Scott Steiner. So, yeah.
yeah, I figured, man, especially with like what's going on with Braun Breaker lately, his uncle, man, I felt like needed to be put over. And I've been kind of going down that Scott Steiner rabbit hole. But yeah, this week, guys, we ended up putting over Big Papa Pump, Big Booty Daddy, Scott Steiner. What a great underrated career he's had throughout his professional wrestling career. And Ben's not here to pick who we're going to put over next week live. So, Ricky, I'm going to put you on the spot. Who do you want to put over next week on the live episode of the We Are Wrestling podcast?
I got 5 names in mind right now, but let's do Booker T.
I like that. So next week we are going to be putting over five-time Booker T. I like that, Ricky. That's a good one.
No, I'm playing.
Can you dig it, sucker? Oh, that's going to be a fun one. I can't wait. So now, with that being said, let's get into the main event topic for the We Are Wrestling podcast, episode 121. And man, what a main event topic we have, because earlier this week it was announced that Randy Orton is staying in WWE. According to Fightful, Orton has now confirmed that he has signed a 5-year extension to remain in WWE. What's your thoughts on Orton going for another 5 years? So his contract is pretty much going to be until 2029, which I believe will mark 30 years in the business. Close to 30 years in WWE.
Loyalty signifies loyalty, and it signifies his dedication to the business and his effort and his respect. And Randy is literally he's one of the greatest at this point of his career. He has surpassed his grandfather and his father in the business. You can't tell me otherwise. If you say,
and that's one thing, man, before you do continue, like that's one thing like I really have to like appreciate with Randy Orton, because anytime you're a generational talent, it's hard to surpass your father, especially your grandfather. And Orton did it.
Yep, he did it. He did it so easily, and the fact that he's still wrestling and still here to this day, y'all need to pay attention and take notes and give him his flowers while he's still here, because he could have been done early 2 years ago. But if he's waiting to do it another 5 years, then that tells you how respectful he is to this business. So John Cena's leaving, when Randy leaves, y'all better have that same love for him too, because I'm not taking no bandwagon nature from y'all. No biased nature, no bandwagon nature, and I'm not taking any fake nature. Oh, I've always been a Randy fan. I'm like, all right, we're gonna quiz y'all to that. We're gonna do that.
That's the one thing though about Randy Orton though. I do want to say, like, I feel like he's not one of those cases where like people aren't going to appreciate him. I feel like he's really going to be getting his flowers when he leaves, and I feel like they're going to do something just like they're doing with John Cena in 2025.
Oh, yep. Yeah, no, I'm not doubting that, but
Because the man has had a first-class Hall of Fame career. The man's a Grand Slam champion. He's done everything in the business. And let me just say this. I think that Randy Orton re-signing to a 5-year extension, I think pretty much proves that, like, he's very happy with the way things are going now with Triple H. I know he's talked very highly with the new WWE in podcasts and interviews. And he loves the fact that, like, he's able to not only have this career, something that he loves doing, and that's professional wrestling, but he also gets to be a father. He gets to be a husband. He gets to be a family man. He doesn't have to miss holidays or birthdays. And Triple H, that's one thing that, like, even Ben talks about a lot here on the podcast, is he cares about the locker room morals. He cares about his superstars. And I think Randy Orton knows he's in good hands, and this solidifies that he's going to be a WWE guy for life. He started in the business when he was just a kid. We got to watch him grow up in this business, which is awesome to say. And I think that, man, like, he still has a lot left in the tank. Hopefully, like, eventually he does go more on a limited schedule, because he could be a really good special attraction, just like The Undertaker he did for his last few years in the business. I think having Randy do, like, big matches and stuff will be great. I don't know how long he's going to be doing full time, though, for. Like, I don't see it being 5 years. I definitely see maybe, like, full time for, like, another 2 years, maybe, and then he becomes that special attraction.
it's gonna be hard to wrestle a full-time schedule at that age too. Like, your
Especially
whole body,
coming back from a serious injury, too.
it's gonna be hard to wrestle at that type of energy and animosity at this time, because, like, you're older and then you're like, should I keep doing this at a high level? Like, it's health first. It's health before your job first. Like, you can't be just, don't please me and decline your health. I'm sorry.
I'll tell you this right now. If the other guy was still running WWE, I guarantee you Randy wouldn't have re-signed. I guarantee you he would probably have retired. Because he even said it in interviews. His body was really breaking down, and then, like, Vince just didn't care. He just really didn't care about it, and that really hurt Randy Orton a lot mentally.
I'm glad that old geezer's out of here.
Well, me too. Trust me.
I'm glad that old geezer's out of here, man.
But I think Triple H really has, like, the best interest in all the talent that's working for him. And I think, like, the morals right now in WWE are at an all-time high. And right now we're in a boom period. And I think Randy Orton is really just enjoying what he's doing, because he's made all the money in the world. If he wanted to retire tomorrow, he can be happy. But of course, he's one of the most passionate professional wrestlers out there. And I feel like nobody can take that away from Randy, because the man has dedicated more than his life to this business. And man, just to see him, like, right now, very happy doing what he's doing. Like, you could tell, like, when you're listening to these passionate promos, he's talking about a lot of old school professional wrestling that he wasn't able to talk about years ago. And you could just see the passion when somebody's talking. And Randy is just, right now, like, he's happy. He's happy. He's having fun.
And I'm happy for him because he deserves it. I'm happy for him because he deserves it, man.
Absolutely.
Like, he done a lot for this business, and I can't complain. I can't complain that he's done enough. I've seen him, like you said, I've seen him coming up as a kid. I've watched him coming up as a kid, so I can't be really all the way mad at that either. Him and John Cena are the last two from that ruthless aggression left. And they're the only ones getting real flowers. The Hall of Fame flower. Batista's not getting them, and Brock is not going to get them.
I think Brock, he's going to come back eventually, but that's another
I don't
topic
wanna-
for
I don't
another
wanna see it.
day.
I already gave my thoughts on that. I don't want to see it, but yeah, you're right. That's for another day.
But with Randy Orton, man, my final thoughts on this is great move by WWE. I think Randy definitely deserves the bag, and the man could still go, and he's having a very decorative career, similar to The Undertaker. And I love that he's had this run in his WWE life, and I feel like he's never going to leave the family. I think once his contract's up in 2029, I feel like that's when he's going to hang the boots up, and I think that's when like he's going to be a Hall of Famer, because we all know he's first class Hall of Famer. And I think that he maybe has one more world championship run in him, and I think he might be the one to beat Cody Rhodes, I think, going into their program at Mania. I could see something happening there, but we're going to have to wait and see.
I can see it.
But what are your final thoughts on all of this with Randy before we close off this week's episode?
RKO.
RKO. Ricky knows best, and the best one, Donnie, knows best. But let us know in the comment section below your thoughts on all the topics that we covered this week on the podcast. Definitely one of our longer episodes. There was just a lot to talk about and a lot of catching up to do. Ricky has not been here in a couple weeks, and Ricky knows best. He wants to just lay it out on here. But guys, if you enjoyed this week's episode, make sure to smash that like button now. If you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, and you're listening to this podcast on Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen, give us a 5-star review, not just any review, a best one review, and download the episode. But if you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, over on the YouTube channel, where we give you guys the best pro wrestling content. We do live watch-alongs, pay-per-view predictions, vlogs, and even reactions. You can check out the SmackDown from last Friday. You can check out the Raw. You can check out the NXT. We're even doing challenge videos like WWE Guess the Theme Song. And you get the video version of this podcast for free. You don't have to pay for it. Recommend you guys to hit that subscribe button now. Turn on the post notifications. We're posting the best stuff. The link's down in the description below. You can go follow Ricky and I over on our social medias and other things that we have going on. All the links down below. I'm posting toy videos over on the Best One Donnie channel every single day right now. And yeah, once I am done with this, I am going to Terrificon. I'm going to Fanatic Fest in New York, and I'm going to see Shane Gillis. So I got a very busy weekend ahead of me. But to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide, don't forget as well, we're going to be doing a live episode next Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you guys want to be a part of this live episode, it'll be on the YouTube page. But to the Maniacs, we are taking over. Peace.